go live.
Hello! We're live.
Hi.
And I think I got everything correct. People's voices and audio voices. Yes, everything is working. Great, look at me. No tech difficulties this time.
Look at you.
I'm a professional.
You are a professional.
We do have
You
two
have people
cryptids.
asking you about it.
Shh. We have two cryptids on stream who don't exist online. So I'm just going to introduce them for themselves. We have Sammy, who is our beautiful green boy who has way too much energy and is chaotic as fuck, but we love him anyway. And we have Yama, who plays Hicks. Wait, no, I lie. Yama, you exist online.
Meh.
Meh.
Yeah, Yamaki is actually going to be representing South Africa in the World Cosplay Summit. But we will not be asking them how that is going.
No, that you will not.
So Reia, how's the cosplay summit going? See, I didn't ask you.
It's just so rude.
No, one does not ask about cosplay things.
We do not
It
ask.
doesn't
Never
go
ask a
until
cosplayer
like
about the cosplay things
Do
until
not
they're
ask.
actually wearing
never.
it.
Yep.
I'd say yes until they're wearing it. Then you can ask about it.
Otherwise, it's a triggering response of stress.
Otherwise, never ask.
Reia, who are you? Where can people find you and who are you playing?
I am Reia.Rika on Instagram and on TikTok. Sometimes I'm there. It's a gift you just never expect. I play Fang, who is a cave woman barbarian.
I love her.
Common,
so much.
thick, not good.
It's so cute. I love this so
Difficult.
much.
I love her. I love Fang. I give up the world. We can set the world on fire for Fang. It's fine. Steve?
Yeah? What's up?
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
How you do?
Are you expecting me to like introduce
Oh,
things?
oh
or
yeah,
start the game
yeah.
off?
No,
Like,
talk
like,
about yourself, my friend. Where
is
can
this
people
about me
find
or is this
you?
about just starting the session?
No, man.
Hi, I'm Steve, otherwise known as the Game Mommy. You can find me on Dying of Exposure across all social media platforms. Also, over on the Beggar Street channel for Twitch, as well as, of course, here on and off for this on, and then sometimes also on for other things when I'm not busy working, which is almost never. And then, but yeah, that's where you can find me. And look forward to an announcement of songs, I guess, music that I'm releasing probably on Friday of this week.
I didn't know you do songs.
Yeah, I'm a poor singer and a mediocre rapper. And so I do that. So that'll come out and you'll see that on social medias. Is fully unrelated. This project fully unrelated to tabletop RPGs. Next project is more related to that.
Whoa.
But until then, yeah. So I guess I do have something to like shout out that's going to be like unique, and then be prepared to watch me stream hours and endless hours of Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfinder in the next couple months. But nonetheless, shall we begin our session here?
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown. Okay. After successfully retrieving the various farm goods and produce and subsidies and rescuing horses and such from a farmer's house in Southgate in the Kingdom of Adrain. Our group managed themselves back into Southgate during the tumult of the large sort of refugee issue, catastrophe issue to the kingdom to the south. And so Southgate's gates are currently locked. It is a fully walled city, and it is currently locked off because of an overflow of people due to a disastrous event that you all can, when not obfuscated by the city walls, see sort of the dark clouds in the distance. It's all still happening right out there. But you all managed to find yourselves back in the comforts after an exhausting combat with some brigands, seeking the comforts of a warm, homey tavern that we will refer to as Emmett's.
As
Emmett's
what?
Tavern. Emmett's Tavern. Emmits. Emmett.
Emmett.
Just 1 sec, Sam's internet died, but he's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Emmet.
Emmett.
Emmett.
How am I spell it? E-M-I-T, hey.
E-M-M-E-T?
Wah!
E-M-M-I-T.
Good lord,
Emmett.
okay.
E-M-M-I-T.
Emmett is a dwarven
Not related
man.
to Kermit the Frog?
Not related in any way to Kermit the Frog, although I can give him the
No,
the high
stop.
ho
I'm
voice.
so sorry. I take it back.
Done.
Sorry.
It's done. Emmett's a dwarven man who plays the banjo and is pretty positively received. I know that you all had some daytime and some events to conversation to sort of like wind down the day's events at the tavern, but this is sort of like the next morning. But you already described is positively received. Everyone calls him by name. He calls almost every patron by name. He's the guy who knows everyone in town. Tavern is of course warm and inviting, with circular tables scattered about, a nice large stone hearth that at night is blazing with warming fire, and in the daytime just provides a nice remnant of coal, like remnant briquette lighters and wood smoke that had been burned the night before. Ale is cheap. Food is solid, hearty, not anything to write home about, but always delivers on being warm and like well cared after. Emmett's family mostly works at the tavern. He and his husband kind of manage it, and then their children who are all kind of like teenagers to young adults sort of serve to fill in the wares. It's been a family affair. He inherited it from his father. But yeah, handlebar mustache, long brown kind of auburny hair, kind of pulled back into a ponytail, typical kind of rolled up sleeves, nice big strong hairy forearms. Always has the classic tavern keeper. Definitely has a cask. Definitely has a mug or a pint, and is definitely constantly cleaning it with a cloth for some reason. They always just need to constantly be buffed or cleaned. And if you look over the bar, and since so many of you are tall enough to see this, the bar is normal height.
Except not Yuri.
Except not Yuri. Yuri is not. But the rest of you, the bar is normal height, and then there's like a 2-foot step that Emmett like walks around that's sort of like on the back of the bar that like lifts him up so he can be like of height with the majority of the customer base there. So so there's like, so oftentimes you'll see him step down and he'll just like be just like the top half of his head over the bar. He's not a very tall dwarf.
This poor man.
But yeah, last night or during the day and the evening prior, before you wound up finding your rooms, finding your potential rooms if you stayed there last night, there was, your classic, someone pulls out a lute in the corner or a lyre in the corner kind of thing, and somebody pulls out like a little flute to sort of jam with them. That lasts for about 30-40 minutes. Somebody plays Wonderwall, of course.
Wait, no,
and then,
we need our bard for
Wonderwall.
this. We need our bard for
no,
this. Where
yeah.
is he?
But no, this is the next day. I'm giving you some time. I have not thoroughly, because I was busy correcting my own previous mistakes this morning, read through the RP stuff from this morning about what you all did in between. So I excuse me if I do this, but But yeah, there'll be much more opportunity. But to begin with, it's breakfast. It's breakfast time. Now, I guess my first question would be toward Yama. Hicks. Would Hicks have stayed the night at the tavern? Did Hicks stay the night at the tavern, I should say?
Yeah, I
Because
don't
it's
see why
like
he
a
wouldn't have.
multi-story. It's like a 2 to 3 story, kind of like 2.5 story sort of situation where it's like tavern on the bottom, inn up top, as classic fantasy as you can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have been obviously there the whole night. He would have probably like after his conversation with Yuri, maybe hung around for a little bit and then like gone out to just I don't know, have peace and quiet and then come back later.
Would he?
But he would have stayed overnight.
Would he
Overnight,
have
yeah.
stayed at like in Fang and Nhudrel's room, or would have he gotten like a new room?
I don't know because maybe the thing is he doesn't really need to sleep, so he wouldn't like.
I mean, you also
I'm just
don't
gonna
have to
stay in the
stay-
room and watch you sleep.
You also don't have to
Fang
have stayed in
finds
the
this
room.
alarming.
The tavern is open the whole night through. Like, if you had decided to be like, oh, it's peaceful and it's quiet and there's nothing down here, you could literally just post up in an armchair in the like the main thing. If you think Hicks would do that, like it doesn't like the main floor doesn't shut ever.
Yeah, like he would kind of be like in and out sort of thing. If it got too noisy, he'd go out, and then once it probably quietens down, I'm assuming like a really early hour of the morning or some stupid hour of the morning, then he would he'd come back and maybe
Around
do
3 or
some
4 in the morning
readings.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
readings, and then do his little
Trance,
trance thing.
relax
Yeah, but I mean he
Um,
doesn't like sleep, so he doesn't need like
exactly,
a proper like.
exactly.
I actually have a question about how Hicks thinks of these people who need to consistently unconscious for at least 6 hours.
Very inconvenient and very yeah, he's kind of like, how unfortunate.
It's like, how are you species still alive?
Like he sees it as sleeping as probably being very inefficient, because you're like completely useless for and like vulnerable and all that shit for like however many hours.
How inefficient of you to need to recharge like this. I feel like he thinks the same while reproduction as well. This is inefficient.
What an inefficient way to do it. Just die and be reborn. Like
Fine. So I think while you're wandering in and out when you're kind of on your own, Hicks, while you're giving you space, because around 3-4 in the morning, you are able to return, and it's like there's another not Emmett bartender kind of watching things, but they're not trying to chat you up. They're not trying to chat you up or anything like that. And then there's no one else for a good couple hours when you return here. But while you're out and about in Southgate, you find that it seems to be there's the kind of tension of the walls being locked. That's again a new thing for this region. They don't normally close all the gates and keep everybody inside or outside. You do notice, you can't really see it per se, but from the outside fires, you notice it seems like the soldiers that you would kind of briefly talk to when you were crossing through the kind of line to the southern entrance of Southgate and all that stuff. It seems like they have been, they have managed to make people communicate. Welcome back. Communicate to, the refugees that they're not going to get in, and so there's like camps and stuff. You saw a little bit of the beginnings of this during the day, but you can tell from like outer fires from beyond the walls, like little campfires and bonfires and stuff like that, that it looks like that's going to be settling itself in for a long period of time. But there's always sort of the clamor of that kind of outer noise. But inside here, it's actually quite nice in Southgate. It's calm, it's pleasant. There is security, but it's been lessened again, closer to what it was when you kind of first arrived here several days ago, where there's only the occasional like person with any kind of weaponry on them or anything like that. And then otherwise, it's just people, mostly young people, like 20-somethings and teenagers at these kind of later hours, gathered in different little pubs and bars and holes in the wall. But it seems like it's very much a kind of like a cozy sort of like relaxed atmosphere. The weather's nice here. It's a little bit livelier than where you tend to stay in a drain, but not nearly as crowded as the capital, or as regimented. It is a soft target. You realize that very quickly. This is not a place that's really. It's got walls and it's got soldiers and it's got its like city guard, but like there's not a lot of no one's up on like watchtowers. There's no ballista anywhere mounted on the exterior wall. Like, this is a soft place. It's a soft place that's lived pretty well, and everything. But it's got its peacefulness. Before you
Easily
return,
invaded. I mean, what?
yeah, easily burned to the ground, the whole kingdom. That's what this session's about. Now,
no.
no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But yeah, I think, Hicks, this would have been the first real opportunity for you to see what happens if things are stressful, and it's almost like people push it away or forget a little bit, which is nice.
So we just ignore our problems. That type of city. Got it.
Yeah,
Under the rug.
You are curious what the administration is doing. You haven't really had any contact with the like governance of this place and at this point, but judging from the city soldiers who you were just able to tell what to do and they listen to you, it's probably not nearly up to snuff.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, Hicks, you'd probably be down in the kind of main body of Emmett's Tavern, in the kind of early morning hours, as dawn happens and everything like that. It does crowd in a little bit when the morning happens, but it's a breakfast crowd that's there to eat and then go to work.
And
So
that's
it's not-
hungover, so they're not going to make a noise. Good.
Yeah, it's much quieter. It's much more orderly. If people are having conversations, they're speaking softly to each other, kind of thing. Fast forward over to Fang and Yuri. What is after last night's sort of relaxation and sleep and rest, what is y'all's morning routine looking like? Do you get up early? Do you get up a little bit later?
Fang absolutely loves the concept of a bed, so she absolutely sleeps in until Nhudrel wakes her up, unless she has something to do.
Like
or feels
escape
the
in
need
the
to be
morning to
awake.
find a job.
Well, she took a morning stroll that day before Nhudrel woke up, and she wrote a scribble of a note and attempts to tell him where she went with an arrow, very inaccurately, but she is fully like. If you can recall Princess Ada in Frozen, when she's like fully snoring in the bed, it's that. It's just unstably just snoring away.
Fang hanging feet and like one arm hanging over the bed, because these aren't like king size beds in this tavern. They're like little twin beds. So Fang, it supports you, like it has most of you on it, but you definitely look like you've crashed out in a child's bed a little bit.
Oh
yeah.
I feel like Nhudrel, because Nhudrel will fold himself very neatly into his bed. But at the same time, it doesn't matter how neatly he went to sleep, he will always wake up by falling out of bed.
Oh.
What a ruffian.
So yeah, because of that, he generally does not wake up happy, and has to have his frickin' coffee before he can deal with anything. But yeah, he's probably gonna like get his coffee, like start dragging Fang out, or attempt to drag Fang out of bed so that he can go downstairs and get a cup of coffee.
Not willing to let Fang out of his sight.
No.
For hopes that Fang doesn't wake up and crawl out a window.
Exactly.
And so you two head downstairs, surprisingly earlier than you would have predicted. It's not like there's clocks in anyone's room, but you can hear kind of as you step down the steps to the main tavern on the primary floor there. You can hear the kind of whispered conversation, and you just see a lot of people quietly having their breakfast. Hicks over in a corner, probably reading something, or possibly just meditating at this moment, but definitely self-engaged and everything. In the morning, like at the morning time when like arguably the morning rush would happen, is when the kind of overnight bartender stops their shift, and Emmett kind of returns for his 16-hour endless work days, because it's an NPC, he doesn't get to sleep. In the case, I'm curious. Would Yuri have resisted the idea? In my mind, Yuri might resist the idea of staying the night inside of a tavern, or inside of the like in rooms on the second floor of a tavern.
Yeah,
Would I
no,
be
he
correct
wouldn't.
with that, Sam?
Yeah, no, he wouldn't have. I mean, to be fair, he trances anyway, so he would be done by 4 a.m. So he would
Exactly.
have just been out in, like, probably sat in a tree somewhere, reading or writing or playing his harp. Just no interest in being inside, and he's probably waiting for people to leave the inn instead of going back in.
I imagine Hicks
So-
doing his like morning walk and just like seeing Yuri at a tree and just giving him that like bombastic side eye, like, what the fuck are you gonna do this time, you little shit? But then
Bombastic
Yeah, and
not
then
saying anything, just carries on walking.
You'll be on like an hour into your morning walk, and then realize that he's in every single tree that you've passed, just
dear
watching.
God.
it is Southgate so decorated with conveniently like parked off, spaced out trees, where it ends up being like just enough space for Yuri to be comfortable in, and everything, but always in sight of the main like kind of walking roads.
Yeah,
I hate all of
but
that.
when he does it, it doesn't look like he's like rushing from tree to tree. Every time he looked into a tree, he'd be there lounging, like he's been there for hours.
Playing a casual stalker mode.
He's like a cat. When a cat just watches
Casual
you and they're
fuckery.
like, yeah.
So yeah, Hicks, you're well aware that Yuri's still in town and kind of in the orbit of
me.
you, and then there's conveniently about 150 feet away from Emmett's Tavern, but inside of the entrance of the tavern, a convenient tree, or small copse of trees that allow for that sort of distance. Southgate, and most of the drain's sort of like setup is more spread than dense, which allows it to feel a little less tense than other regions, certainly, and it smells better because of that as well. But it's a much less gross city than some of the other cities in this world. But Emmett sort of looks over at Fang and Nhudrel, and is like, hold on, do I do the Kermit? I'm not going to do the Kermit the Frog voice.
Steve, I will kick you.
You tend. Oh, hey there.
No.
Can I get you anything? Is there anything that I can? Oh, gee, I sure would like to provide you some morning victuals.
Emmett the dwarf here.
Emmett the dwarf.
I hate all of that. I hate it.
You're the
all
one who
of that.
compared.
Kermit.
Y'all compared him to Kermit. That's that. I can't not do it.
Dear God. Okay.
Beautiful.
That's amazing.
Kermit the Frog's gonna be the next tavern owner.
Yep.
His son Kermit. His son Kermit. That's half bullywug.
Oh my God.
But yeah. Can I get you anything?
Sorry, I just would really like a cup of coffee, please.
coffee it is.
Thank you.
And for you, giant woman.
Breakfast special.
You'd think
Please.
after a month of us tall people being there, Emmett would remember who we were.
He smiles a little bit as Fang orders breakfast. Gets Nhudrel the coffee. Coffee. Breakfast comes out real quick. It is like quite literally 2 eggs, kind of like a moons over my hammy kind of Denny's thing where it's like a smiley face with bacon and 2 eggs sunny side up.
She loves it so much. She loves when her breakfast smiles.
and he goes, here you go. We'll put it on your tab. Just make sure to pay up before you check out. If Nhudrel orders any food, he makes sure that Nhudrel also is well taken care of. Emmett's has a pretty standard sort of like broad kind of again comfort family homemade food. And so your standard easy access breakfast foods, your potato dishes and stuff
I do
like
have
that.
a question though. Is Hicks or Yuri visible anywhere by chance?
I think Hicks
Hicks is probably come back now to avoid Yuri. Yeah, so he's probably in the corner.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, he's
In
like,
every single
he likes people watching. Hicks really likes people watching.
Every
So he would be like in the
move
quiet
you
corner
make.
with like a book or something and just watching
and
people.
then there's
So he's there.
and then the camera pans to the side and there's a window, and in the shot of the window in the distance is a tree and there's Yuri.
It's just
Always in vision.
it's just Yuri's heavy breathing.
The royal feet!
No,
Casual
stop!
King Julian!
King Julian!
King Julian!
No, stop! Why is that so accurate? I hate it. King Julian. Okay.
King Julian!
I think. And I apologize for the sniffles. I am very virally infected with fun germs. Nhudrel's probably just gonna gesture to Hicks to join them. Just be like, coffee. Coffee. Do you want?
Imagine
coffee?
Hicks' face when you're offering coffee, which I obviously can't do. Hicks would go up to Nhudrel when he was like called over. But then he would look at at the mug or whatever it is that Nhudrel's holding. Just be like, I do not drink that weird beverage. It does not suit my taste.
Oh, you do not like caffeine?
No, it's not good for your health, and it does not taste very good either.
Emmett leans in. It's like, oh, we have tea and strawberry milk if you want some strawberry milk.
Pulls out like a bazooka. Do I look like a child to you?
I was like,
Bazookas don't
I will
exist.
have the,
Me in
the
real life, I would
strawberry
be like,
milk.
Yes, give me the strawberry milk.
Legit though.
What? Does Fang want a strawberry milk?
Fang wants a strawberry milk. I will have
It is
strawberry milk.
an unreasonable amount because he just judges based off Fang's size. So you know how you get a normal human amount of milk, like an amount of milk that doesn't unsettle people when you have it and everything. Fang's, it's like 32 ounces of milk. It's like 2 pint glasses of milk in one giant tankard. Based
Oh,
off Fang's
she's the
scale.
happiest being in this moment. She like looks over to Hicks. Should have the breakfast. It smiles.
Yeah, but Hicks doesn't smile. So, no.
There's like a plate, and then there's like a plate in the background, and Emmett's like trying to watch Hicks, and then being like changes the bacon to like a flat look, to just like a flat.
It's just a.
Tries to match the
Got a
envelope to the person.
gauge.
Maybe a little bit of a frown. Maybe just the subtlest bit of disapproving. For
It's-
some
it's-
reason, the eggs look
I
angry.
would love
But like,
just a
they've
bunch of.
cut at an angle so that they've like angry eyebrows.
Exactly. You just trimmed them for eyebrows.
This is like breakfast. You know how like baristas like or like
Yeah.
they're like
The-
we
the
judge
little
you
Omar.
and we make like
Yeah.
little thingies specifically for you. Emmett's is like, I will make your breakfast specifically for you, tailored for you.
I need art
No,
of
Hicks
everybody's
would ask
different
though if
breakfast
they have
faces.
any
Oh my
like white tea or something, like something
Yeah.
really like plain.
Oh, of course.
Coffee's
course,
too
we-
spicy.
I mean, you are from Shadowfell.
Exactly.
You
Coffee's too
can't
spicy.
possibly have that much flavor.
Right, it's
Um,
spicy.
Right. Why is it
Why is it
spicy?
spicy? Why is it spicy?
So Emmett gets some white tea brewing for Hicks, just like kind of takes a quick survey over and kind of nods to one of his many children, and it's like,
good
"Go
lord.
to that table, and let him know we've got white tea for special." Looking at people who he thinks would like milder flavored things. And everything.
The ones with no expression on their faces, those ones.
The ones with no expressions, maybe the most Caucasian looking ones, you know.
Easier to clock.
Just the least flavored looking, least seasoned looking people. So you have this breakfast and everything. You're all in the tavern.
Fang is
So-
gonna open the window because I'm assuming we can see Yuri from the window in the tree outside.
Unless
I'm
you're
guessing-
specifically hiding.
Unless, yeah,
Probably.
Yuri's like in a completely different tree. I'm not entirely sure at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming she's like maybe saw him for a moment and I called out, "Should come inside! Breakfast smiles!
Breakfast smiles.
They have the strawberry milk!"
I just look. There's this image of Emmett just taking the chalk on the chalkboard, serving breakfast that smiles, like just.
It's just
All
the
of
fact-
his
It's
food
a
specials have pun names. All
We've
of
got
them.
a breakfast that
Um,
makes you smile.
Oh my god.
And then Hicks is like that one customer. He's like, one day I will get you to
One
smile.
day I will
I will
figure
get
out
you
what you
my-
like.
you're
with
like
my
the,
impeccable service.
yeah. With Fang it's like beginning tier. With Nhudrel it's like medium tier. With Hicks it's like god tier. How to make Hicks smile?
There's like a murder board almost of like
gosh.
data investigation cork boards with like sketches of different difficult customers as he tries to figure out how to perfectly serve them.
Hicks is up top.
The conspiracy theory board.
Yeah, so Fang, you call out to the tree that you believe that Yuri is in. Maybe you spot them, maybe you don't. It depends on Yuri's decision in that moment.
I don't
uh,
think Sammy is available right now this minute.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Hello.
are you? Okay.
I saw the mute go off. I've been watching the Discord
Okay,
for
cool,
the
cool.
mute. Mhm. And so, Yuri, you heard Fang's dulcet tones yell out, "The breakfast smiles, and they have the strawberry milk," in a little bit more broken. You should come in. Trying to get you to come into the
Made a
tavern.
little more broken.
Yeah, no, Yuri's not coming anywhere near food there. He's likely gone and got. Can I actually do like a survival or something to go get myself like forage myself some food for the morning?
You can do survival. You can do stealth if you think that Yuri might just like take, because there's lots of
No, he wouldn't
pies
steal
on the
anything.
windowsills. But if he doesn't steal, then yeah, survival will be that.
Yeah, no, he would only forage. He's not trusting anything made by people.
That's
Wow.
fair.
It's just
That's 14. Not the best. But it's
You'll
Yuri.
find like there's many of the trees in Southgate have like fruit and stuff like that. Like there's probably like a plum tree or two kind of thing here and there. You don't get like the heartiest of meals, but you get food. I mean, there's plenty of like growing food that doesn't look like it's claimed or owned by anyone. Most specifically, there are items that are definitely like nobody owns this or claims it. It is just part of the nature here, kind of thing.
Yeah. When he
Go
gets
on.
called to eat, that's exactly when he'll vanish off to forage. Because he'll be like, oh yeah, food. And that's
Yeah,
when he'll
food.
go off to go find food himself.
Twists
gosh.
and growls. Is Yuri trying to be inconspicuous while he forages, or is he just like going about his day?
I mean, can I do a stealth roll, but I wouldn't say he's like. It's more the fact that he's, a plant in a tree. Well, it looks like a plant, and he's in a tree, so he's probably stealthy naturally, but I don't think he's thinking too much about it.
It's not anything like specific or confrontational. I think over time Yuri takes notice that the they keep their distance, but that the younger people, not quite like some children notice Yuri occasionally, but like that like sweet spot of like 12 to 16-year-olds, right? Younger, like adolescent to teenager. They notice Yuri more than say the other people that are busy about their business, right? That are not engaging with the world around them. And possibly, I don't know if Yuri would capture this, but at the very least, a trivial thought might pass. Oh, there's a lot of young people that just aren't doing anything. Like a lot of the adults, there's bakers and blacksmiths and normal town structures, people setting up market shops in the market and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of older children, young adults that are just sort of loitering around. And maybe it's because they don't have any focus, but just something that Yuri catches as they're kind of out and about on their kind of morning forage. Back in the tavern, back in Emmett's, the three of you have your beverages, your appropriate food. 4 different food items get put in front of Hicks. An oatmeal, something that's a bit more like a goulash, almost like a boiled cabbage, dish of some kind, and then like just buttered toast, or just buttered toast, and then like another thing. And Emmett's like, you should give it a try. These are all
Emmett's
different
determined.
options. And so there's like a few food options, but your white tea comes. It's like on the house, and they're also smaller portions. You don't see them as like the full breakfast that Fang has probably already cleaned off of their plate. Completely.
Well, I mean, if the oatmeal looks more like plain,
Yeah.
then he would probably more so go for that. Kind of just, not smile, not say thank you, none of that. Just give the like nod.
And Emmett takes note that you ate the oatmeal. And goes back.
Like that's
Grits?
plain and
Question
simple
mark?
enough.
Grits? Question mark? Polenta? Yeah, the three of you are sitting. It's relatively calm. Nobody's like approaching you. It's a relaxed, sort of almost intimate moment amongst the public where everybody seems to be about their business and everything. Is there anything that you all do or anything in that?
So, Hicks.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh wait, that was in character. Never mind. He didn't answer then. He just looked at you.
I'm like, yeah, Hicks absolutely answers like, yeah.
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 That oatmeal did wonders.
Hicks is in a great move. Just needs some slop to eat.
Apparently. So, I was wondering. Actually wanted to speak with you yesterday, but didn't really get a chance, and then things were on fire. You and Yuri, do you both come from the same place?
Do we look like we come from the same place?
You both look like you don't come from here.
And you assume we come from the same place when we are so vastly different. It's an interesting notion, I'll give you that much.
He looks like he's considering saying something.
I just saw Reia's face. Oh!
I'm very emotive.
I don't look at Reia's face when I roleplay because I will lose it. I can't.
Great character, so fast.
Absolutely. I suppose I wouldn't say, while not looking exactly the same, you do have a similar feeling about the both of you.
You don't know what we are, do you?
No idea. Wait, do I? Do I know what they are?
I don't know, do you?
Do I, Game Mommy?
Roll a
Fang does
history
not.
check. Fang doesn't know. Fang doesn't.
Fang has
Thanks
no
just here
clue.
for the smiley breakfast.
They're very happy
Yes.
about the smiley brick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
roll a history check. You know that they're
I
your
read a
instincts
lot.
are being honest to you, and so yeah, this is mostly just to see how much have you read. Have you happened across some knowledge that would do this?
I'm a bookworm. Have I read about monochrome men? Have I?
I mean, I don't know
History
how
say.
common Hicks's type kind wouldn't be like.
It's
Yeah,
not
no,
super
See,
same
common.
with me, to be fair. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm common
Yeah.
knowledge at all.
Neither of these people.
Well,
this
he's
is
read about
less
us.
that you're going to know details and more
You
about
almost started
what
a
you
cult.
might suspect that they are and what you would know.
Oh
or
no,
have
he
the
got a
potential.
whole like 20. He knows exactly what he read us.
I
in a
rolled
book
a
last night.
nat 20 plus 6. I wrote
Okay,
a
so
fucking
he-
He
thesis
read
about
about our
these two
histories in
people.
his little fairy tale book last night. Now he knows who we are.
I wrote
uh,
a thesis about them.
So you know that they are not of this world. You know that both of them are not from this plane. You would know there's certain things that Hicks definitely isn't, and that Yuri definitely isn't. They're not demons or devils. But as far as like what they actually are,
Mhm.
I think you would be confident, Yuri, that they're from some sort of external super, like to you, and certainly to Fang as well, a supernatural place, a place of, and I think it might be that Nhudrel, you would know. I think your character would have a bunch of theories, but not have confirmation for any of them in looking at this kind of thing, because you know that there's a lot of conflicting statements about the sort of cosmology of the worlds and everything. There's all kinds of religions and mythologies and folklore and everything that have discussed all kinds of magical beings or otherworldly entities or lost civilizations and stuff. And so you are 100% confident that Hicks is probably from one of those and Yuri is probably from one of those. But as far as details, you couldn't possibly be sure which. You just
Okay.
know that they're almost certainly not devils or demons, which is a little bit more of a understood thing, a consistent thing in lore.
I know that I am deeply interested in where the both of you come from.
Well then, guess that's a good mystery for you, is it not?
Is it a mystery you'd allow me to solve?
It's a mystery in my case that you're better off not knowing.
Wouldn't you think that's something for me to decide?
No.
Fucking love Hicks.
No.
Well, in that case, I won't pry.
He's just gonna give like a little nod.
Fang will
Consent
chime in.
is
I
a
have
thing.
Question. I have question for Hicks. What food do your home people eat? Like?
The answer is not coffee.
You're asking what food we eat where I come from?
Yes. Yes. That.
Many different foods. It depends on who you ask. We're not all the same.
What do you like from your home?
Kind of like, he doesn't really have an expression on his face, hey? So it kind of looks unreadable. Like he just looks like blank as usual for like a good good couple of seconds before he comes up with an answer. What I prefer, I guess, would be cold noodles, like your frog friends.
Dear fucking God.
No, you didn't say the last part.
I will
He likes
lose it.
cold noodles.
Old noodles.
Can I try read
takes
this
note of this.
this blank face to see like is Hicks like excited about cold noodles? Is he upset about people grilling him? Like, can I try read this blank face, please?
I mean, you could
That's
try,
up-
but it's pretty
that's
darn
up to
blank.
Yeah, I would say on any insight checks on Hicks by reading expression, because it's been such an important part of Yama's character, definitely disadvantage. Definitely disadvantage. I think that's only fair.
Disadvantage it is.
And then if you
Oh,
want to
wow.
roll something about it, Yama, or
Nope.
just kind of take the dice as they
Nope.
are, that's up to you.
I know nothing. This face is unreadable.
I mean, he's not like avoiding questions. He might not necessarily be answering them like, "I'm from the Shadowfell," But he's
you're
answering
answering
them.
the questions you're willing to answer, and you're not answering the questions you don't want to answer, which is a very honest way of going about yourself.
Oh yeah. I think Noodles is just trying to train himself to be able to read this blank.
It's gonna take a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Considering I'm gonna be
Micro
rolling at
expression.
disadvantage, yeah, it's gonna take a while.
But yeah, I think it's only fair. Cold noodles somewhere in the back kitchen. Emmett feels like he missed an opportunity somehow and just doesn't know what.
Oh, Emmett.
Around that time, Yuri from outside of the tavern, in your tree, as you eat your found foraged food, you see a number of people in uniform attire. These are not. These are people that look like they're going about business, and they're posting up at various on the outside doors of various businesses in these kind of black and gold. They're not in armor; they're in more like just finery. But in sort of like the like these black and gold kind of get ups. They are posting little announcements across various businesses. So you kind of hear the knocking, and then that locates like what's going on. There's probably inside of you roughly about 3 or 4 of them, kind of spreading out with different like stacks of parchment, nailing them to doors. One of them does go into Emmett's tavern to kind of to post up one of these essentially flyers on the inside in the sort of like community board section of the tavern. Posting up these sort of flyers that have really like calligraphied lettering, very vibrant and very stylized. Probably not enough of an interesting thing to necessarily move Yuri out of space until one of them comes up and literally decides to hang one with a little bit of twine from one of the lower branches of the tree that you're sitting on. They specifically don't nail into the tree. They just sort of like get like either a piece of like bark that is kind of like angled off away from it, or one of the lower branches, and sort of hang one of these pieces of kind of heavy parchment down there, not even noticing that Yuri's in the tree. A quick glance at it reads very simply, and it just says Southgate Festival or Spring Festival and Carnival, a new celebration for all those of the Kingdom of the Drain in Southgate to celebrate the changing of the seasons and the beginning of a new grand time. Games, prizes, rides, challenges, all can be found. Beginning at noon today and going through the next 3 days. Seek heraldry offices or seek heralds, official Adrain heralds for more information.
Can I grab the dude
And
who
it's
just
got, like-
hadn't nailed the thing on?
Yeah, you can.
Just
You
gonna.
don't have to grab him, but you can. Yeah, you can.
I'm just gonna loom up from behind him. I'm sorry. Good day.
Yes.
About this notice.
Yes.
It's a little odd to have a celebration right after a crisis, is it not?
That's the best time to have a celebration. The people are tense, nervous, because we've had to take extra normal actions to stop what's happening from being overwhelming. So we thought that as long as everyone was cooped up, we might as well give them something to do.
Interesting.
There's a insightful recommendation from the mayor here at Southgate.
Ha. And because my deception is a -1, Nhudrel's face is basically just like, this mayor seems to be a bit of an idiot. Like, just straight up, okay. I see. All right.
Looks you up and down. You might be a fine person for trivia contest, or perhaps the auction, or any of the feats of dexterity, or
Auction?
and of course there's the pie eating contest as well.
That's where Fang would excel.
Why?
Why did I think of Fang as well instantly?
It's like batting neutral. It's like pie is sweet food. It's
Just
just
like-
sweet food, yes.
Yes, pie is the sweet food that, remember when I told you if you eat too much of it, you get a tummy ache. Do we remember this conversation? And also
Yes.
holes in your teeth. And that hurts.
Like my tummy is strong.
I love Fang so much.
The herald looks over looks over and up at Fang. Oh yes, you should absolutely participate in the pie eating contest. Any of the food challenges, I feel like you'd bring quite the level of competitorship to the table. Ignoring Nhudrel entirely.
I agree.
and there will also be tests of friendly combat, and things like wrestling, dueling and things like that with blunted blades, right, and everything. Just a bit of fun and games for there, and of course carnival games, dart throwing and ring tossing and such. And I believe even some of the mages that happen to be in house have rigged up some locomotive rides for people to enjoy. They're constructing it in the square out in front of the mayor's residence in the large park there. So please do come and enjoy. It's, of course, it's your choice, but it will be a fun event.
I'm sorry. What was your name?
My name? I'm an unimportant herald NPC, so my name is Jim. Jim is my name.
Hello, Jim.
Not to be confused with James, Jimmy, Jimothy, or Jameson. Other people that are heralds. We all have very similar names.
Noted. Jim, you mentioned an auction earlier.
Yes, an auction, yeah.
What type of auction is it?
Some of the wealthier members of Southgate are donating certain items, and then we have opened up the civic treasury to release some rarities and curios, as well as some of the craftsmen have offered to allow us to purchase some of their items in order to do that. Just a friendly auction.
I see.
Hicks is gonna
there-
walk up when he talks about the auction, and he's just gonna ask these wealthier people that are putting stuff in this auction. What are the chances that we can speak to them if we so wish to buy their item?
I mean, you can certainly speak to them directly. Certainly, almost all of the craftsmen can create multiples of whatever they're offering. There will be some unique items, but you're welcome to speak to anyone. The only person you'd have difficulty speaking to is, of course, the mayor. The mayor is very busy right now, as you might imagine, with the crisis outside the city walls. Trying to alleviate that as quickly as possible so we can open the gates and go back to business as normal. But
As someone who's been here for like a month, would I know what the mayor's name is?
yeah, you probably would have overheard it. Shemley. The mayor's name is Shemley.
Mayor Shemley.
Only heard them by their surname, Shemley.
Okay,
Thing is not remembering that.
that's fine.
But Hicks, good at speaking. We win speaking contest. Yeah. And she looks around
Win
and doesn't
speaking
see her.
contest.
Yuri, good at singing. Will win singing contest.
When you do that, like, I can't remember what creature does it exactly, but like he's gonna, when you're a kid and you dangle off a branch like by your legs,
Yeah.
upside down. He does that and just
It's a
hanging
lemur.
looking
It's
through the
literally
window.
a lemur.
Yeah, just looking through the window
Fucking
upside down,
morphed.
hanging off a
What?
Nope.
thing. You heard his
Uh,
name.
It's not the corner. She's like,
finally
Yuri!
seeing a green, beautiful person hanging upside down. Oh, of course, there will definitely be artists and poets and musicians of all manner at there. I don't know if they're organizing a slam poetry contest or anything like that, but or a contest of sorts, but I can look into it. I admit that we were handed these this morning, told roughly about what events were going to happen, and hurried out to quickly let the populace know so that we can spread calm. And then it kind of leans in. Give the people something to do since they can't leave.
As he says that. Wait, I need to check if I can do that.
I
Yuri
hate.
squints that he's trying to be a sneaky little shit. So he's just going to casually use prestidigitation to maximize, to basically, like, what he's saying is now being amplified out loud.
Oh dear God.
Just
Oh dear
think.
God.
So you're just squinting with his eyes glowing from
Mm.
the other side of the
so
window.
The herald, Jim, doesn't know that this is like really doesn't understand that this has happened, but the mood of the tavern suddenly becomes very interested in the conversation. The four of you standing inside the tavern, and then from the window just past that, Yuri, but more focused on the four of you, the three of you in conversation with this herald. Suddenly very interesting, and like the pitch of the murmur changes. Instead of it being like casual conversations and everything, it suddenly becomes lower in tone a little bit, as the whole of the tavern herd, give them something to do since they can't leave. And Emmett like looks around and is like, a tasting. Oh, sorry, Emmett's voice. A tasting menu today. Has just come up, and we're serving beignets to everyone. Please take it. We have a new beignet that we're introducing on the menu, and we'd love your feedback. And then he just like calls back. Get the beignets. Get the beignets. Go. Just start making them.
It's just like
Trying desperately to distract.
No,
He's
my
distract-
5 stars on Yelp. No.
Oh, Nix is just gonna
Oh.
like give that side like look at like Yuri through whoever he's hanging upside down. Just gonna give him that look. That's it's
Yuri
unreadable,
will-
but it's still a look.
Yuri will wave at him and then go back up into the tree.
Thank's gonna lean down to the herald and be like, "You need to use inside voice."
God.
This is
I love it,
probably
Fang.
directly quoted from Nhudrel. That's his
Yeah,
favorite thing.
I think she's heard from Neutral for sure.
I'm gonna get this man fired.
Absolutely.
Good.
Jim just like looks around and it's like, well, if that's everything, I will be going now. I have more of these to post elsewhere, like looking around at this kind of gently turning crowd around you all. And he starts to make his way out. You can stop him or continue the conversation, but he's definitely on his way out of Emmett's tavern to avoid.
Are there sports?
Are there
I'm
sports?
good at sports.
There are many sporting events. Of course, there'll be wrestling, and of course, there'll be the combat-related things. But there will also be, God, I have to invent a name for this. I'm gonna call it hoop ball for now. It'll be a different thing.
Hoop
that
ball?
involves a ball and hoop.
Netball.
Netball. There we go.
The
There'll be
hip, the
netball.
hip.
There'll be netball, of course. And depending on interest for it, just because it's the royal family's preferred pastime, there might be a small informal dressage contest.
Lead to Neutral. What is dressage?
As someone who's not a horse rider, I don't know.
I mean, I know, but Hicks
Hey, go
isn't,
lean over
so
to
I'm gonna
Hicks.
leave that up to Yuri.
Yeah, I don't think that is a thought in Yuri's life.
I mean, I
Wouldn't
don't
know.
What is
think
dressage?
I don't think Nhudrel wouldn't really know what it is, because where Nhudrel comes from, the most, I don't know, active horses might be seahorses.
Yeah,
Wait.
there wouldn't be dressage for Nhudrel's
No.
probably background. Dressage is not even. It's as engaged upon and interesting of a like public interest of a sport in this world as it is in our human world. Like very specific people care
Very
a lot about it,
niche.
and nobody else even like most people don't even know what it is. They're like you explain, oh, it's like deliberate horse dancing, and they're like, cool, and then they just move on with their lives.
Would Nhudrel know? Again, he's a bookworm, so
It's up to your character. Like that's not even something I'll have you roll history. That's more of a character choice because it's just
I think
it's a
he
flavor.
would know, especially if he's been here for like a month, and this is the
the
common.
Adrain family.
Yeah,
The Adrain family is a big fan of dressage.
yeah. I will be honest, I don't know the details, but it involves horses, and the people here like it.
Mm.
I mean, Hicks would know what it is if he's been here for years.
That's true.
Yeah, Hicks would probably know what dressage is at this point. Because again,
He's
it's
been
the
here for a
kind of
couple
thing
of years.
where
He's
you
been
would have
in
seen
Drain
an
for a while.
announcement about it. Definitely where you tend to be based, Hicks, since you're near-ish the capital. They have like dressage events at the capital.
Oh.
I will be good at the other sports.
Fang!
She's kind of like puffed up and excited now. Sports and pie? What?
What a day!
What a day.
But
Fang
yeah,
is definitely the target demographic for this.
Jim sort of makes his way out of your conversation and heads back out to post more of these parchment flyers
Is
around
Jim just
Southgate.
like slowly edging away to just avoid the tall
Yeah, oh yeah.
people at this point? Just
Well,
like,
it's not the tall people. He's less concerned about the three of you because you're all having the conversation without any kind. You're not like immediately yelling at him for not letting people in and out of the city. And he's more concerned about the other diners that overheard suddenly him doing that and trying to get away from those uncomfortable conversations. Because I would say that Hicks, you recognize this is not a herald from South. This is not like a Southgate employed. This isn't a drain employed herald. This is a kingdom level. This is a federal employee.
Oh yeah,
not
don't
a
worry.
state
Hicks has something to say when
Um,
he leaves. So
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah,
Interesting.
and whether or not Yuri like definitively clocks that or not, because it's not 100% uncommon for there to be people in the kind of black and gold, the kind of darker. It's actually a really deep blue, but it reads as black and gold unless it's in like extremely bright sunlight. But this kind of dark thing, that there would have been the occasional person like that. So I don't know if Yuri would have ever bothered to care that like a drain has separate city employees and then like a kingdom sort of employee.
I mean, it's only his second day here, so I don't think he's even
Nhudrel,
really.
not Yuri. Nhudrel.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep saying Yuri instead of Nhudrel. It's because I'm
We
trying very hard
totally-
not to say noodles. I'm very hard trying to actually say your name.
The cold noodles.
We skip from noodles to Nhudrel straight to Yuri. Straight up.
Yeah. So yeah, Yuri might have feelings about the fashion choices, but the other one, like the aesthetics, may not be.
It's not neon pink.
Yuri's
Why?
It's not very. Yeah, it is very very rigid formal clothing by comparison to even the Southgate.
Considering Nhudrel's old profession, I think he would take note out of that, just because he's used to
Yeah.
having to know that sort of thing.
Yeah, so you'd know
Yeah.
that they are just like that they're just like they're kingdom employees, not Southgate
Yeah.
employees.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
when
Noted.
the Herald leaves, Hicks would look at Nhudrel and then just ask, "Do you really not know why they're having this festival?"
I suppose I understand why they are doing it, but I still think the resources should go elsewhere.
You clearly do not understand then why they're doing it. They're hosting this to, what is the word uncommon again? To cover the issues that are ongoing. Like a blindfold. You make
Yes.
the unhappy people happy, and then they forget all about what's actually going on. That is why they're having this festival.
I am aware.
Not to give them something to do.
I am aware. But again, I still think their resources should go elsewhere.
Where they go is not our problem.
No, it isn't, is it? I need to remember that.
And he's gonna kind of look back out the window and just watch Yuri again. Just like, you little shit, you just made this so awkward.
Fang is now doing like push-ups
Oh my
to
god.
get height.
Get
She's
that
like, yeah,
pump
I'm
on.
ready to go.
Pump on. Get those bikes
Getting higher.
popping. Get them bikes popping.
I love her so much.
Oh no, I'll protect Fang with my life.
life.
I'll drop kick Yuri out the second floor, but I'll protect Fang with my life.
Hello.
Actually, when Yuri popped out like and upside down by the window, I'm like, oh, we're missing our Spider-Man kiss. Hicks, go!
Spider-Man. Wait, I don't want to
Spider-Man
be the girlfriend.
Go.
What's her name?
Oh
Mary-
no, you're
Mary
gonna
Jane?
you're gonna go splat.
It's
Mary to go splat.
Depends
What,
on
Mary-
which
yeah,
girlfriend.
Mary
Mary
Jane?
Jane or
Yeah, I'm going Mary Jane.
Mm.
Not a.
Oh, I
not
don't
a,
remember who the other one was.
Gwen
I just
Stacy.
remember
Gwen Stacy.
I was in.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I was in the
Gwen
movie
Gwen
theater
Stacy's
when
the
that
one that
happened. And I
Andrew
laughed.
Garfield kills.
and
Yeah, I
and
laughed.
And the name for Zendaya's character, I can't freaking remember.
MJ.
There we go.
MJ.
MJ.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
too many options.
Too many options.
Fang pops back up from her push-ups, like a little hyped. She's like, "We're going, yes." Like, running in place.
Yes.
And she's looking outside to where Yuri had popped out. It's like, Yuri,
Yuri drops down again.
We
Upside
go-
down.
we go to the festival? It's like openly trying to see if the group is going to go.
I mean, Yuri's upside down, and he just kind of. The best way to describe he's hanging upside down, but he just does in the most nonchalant, yeah, what?
In English.
In the most like casual way possible, does like a yeah, okay kind of shrug, like just while upside down, just like yeah, sure. He doesn't speak, but just does it with his body language.
That's
Yes.
amazing. And Hicks, will you be joining us?
Maybe not necessarily joining you. And then he looks again at Yuri. But I do want to talk to some of the people there.
He's afraid of losing against you.
It's me. Wow. He looks a little flattered, actually. He's like,
Don't
oh,
don't take the weird green boy's words to heart. He likes to instigate stuff. Just ignore
I
him.
don't.
The best thing to do.
He's a terrible liar.
Neutral. Neutral, also good at speaking. Fang can understand.
well, I wouldn't. Stop.
With that, like, Hicks is just gonna like flip his hood up again of his robe. Just flip it up and then just like walk out. Just like, I'm done. Catch you guys later.
Yuri will kind of do a
Hicks.
flip off the branch and land beside Hicks, and very casually, in a very strangely, like almost, what's the word? It's calculative, which is probably a bit strange for him. And just goes, you know, if you show great skill in the competitions, you'll likely get the attention of the mayor. Easy way to make, meetings.
Worry, I thought of that already. That's why I'm going.
Okay, let's go then.
He kind of
And if
looks
you
at him
fall
again
over,
like, oh, why is
I'm
this
gonna
thing
turn you
following
plate.
me?
Fang
I
is
think-
alarmed that might have insulted Hicks, so she's calling out, Hicks also still very good at speaking! She's like following after the two. And she's like so conflicted, she's like, I don't know what to do.
Oh my god, I love her.
So the four of you.
Wait, hold on.
make-
Nhudrel is going to stop and actually pay for his food and their food and everyone's food.
It would be fine. Emmett has a tab going for you, so
Okay,
is
cool.
confident that you all will, that Yuri and Fang and anyone that they're associated with will be paid up appropriately because you've been here for long enough.
I try not to stand a tree. He better not charge you for me, otherwise he's ripping you guys off. Just pointing that out. I only touched the mini fridge.
You know those bottles are so expensive, though. Those tiny little bottles.
Yeah, but
are
I
so
didn't drink any. I just
Touched
poured
it.
it outside.
Oh my god.
uh,
Just a Nhudrel's reaction to
I watered the plants.
why is this on the tab?
What is the plan?
Why are so many avian waters on the tab right
Yeah.
now?
Why the
He's the
drink
nice
any of
water.
this?
Use the glass bottled water for no apparent reason in a fantasy
Yeah.
realm where everyone would look at people cross-eyed at that.
Uh-huh.
Just drink the water from the well. There's a well. It's
Oh no,
right
not for
there.
himself. Just to water
No,
the
for the
plants.
plants. For the plants.
I like
Um,
the idea that as Nhudrel like chases to try catch up with these people, somewhere in the distance there's my cabbages. As Nhudrel catches up with them. It's my favorite
somehow
thing.
the cabbage vendor is just pushing their cabbages across, and you just stumble over it again. It's the only one.
It's the only
Otherwise, you're
one.
fine.
Yeah.
But making your way across
Making my way.
Went down.
Southgate, Southgate, you manage to see that the town is in kind of a more normal spirits for it. There's a bit of tension, but like it's being distracted. The keys are jingling in front of the toddler of the town populace. They're
Fang is the toddler.
Fang
I
is
was
the
about to
toddler.
say.
You can see like paper lanterns being kind of drawn up, like decorations being kind of put together. Flower garlands and things like that are immediately shipping are immediately kind of coming in. It's Yuri. You're from a much more spectacular place.
Yeah, he probably looks bored by all of this. To be honest, this is quite basic.
I feel like this for you. This feels like maybe there's like
This
in
is
the
Tuesday
Fey
at the
realm,
pub.
it's a two. Yeah, like you're like, oh, they're sprucing it up to look almost basic. How kind of
Yeah.
them. Good.
Almost
So they
basic.
can care a little bit about the area around them. But like
Did we just become the
um,
basic bitches to the Fae? Like
I mean, no, you are the basic realm. That's
We are the
literally what the
basic
mortal
realm.
realm is, though.
the material plane is pretty much it's the Applebee's of the planes. You know,
Just wait until you guys meet a normal elf and Hicks and Yuri both shame them.
a very stuffy, refined, super like overly educated university elf that
Oh my
feels like they're so
gosh.
important. But nonetheless, so I think for Yuri, this is a normal day. There might even, because you've only been in town for or in this place for such a short time, you're like, this must be what they have to do every morning to make this place like lookable, right? like to make it look
Yeah,
like
this
it's
is his
based
first morning
presentable.
here, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But for Nhudrel and Fang, you both see the kind of typical festival stuff. For Fang, I feel like this is not dissimilar to the celebrations that your community would have. A lot of like natural and available items to sort of like spruce up things. A little bit more structured, a little bit more constructed. There's immediately a bunch of booths that are being put up with all kinds of like games of chance and things like that, and games of skill. And then for Nhudrel, this is, you've seen festivals before at your home. This is a different flavor of the same thing. It is exactly what you're kind of concerned about. I think Nhudrel, it would, every time you see them, you see a bunch of like a hand cart of fruit, or like a bunch of like supplies and like beautiful cloths put out and everything like that. You can't help but think, but there's literally thousands of people on the other side of this wall, of these walls, that have just lost potentially their home. You
Oh,
could at
sucks to
least
be them.
assume.
That's literally what Hick said. Sucks to be them.
Yep.
Um,
The two different.
and so,
Whereas Nhudrel's just like, this money could be going to better freaking places.
To be
yeah,
fair,
yeah.
Yuri
So
would
you're
probably be
definitely
happier on the other side.
But I don't know, there's no commotions around the outer gates of any kind of significance. They are locked up. They do all have the city guard and a couple of soldiered to drain uniforms kind of mixed in. But yeah, you see there's already sign up posts. So there's an auction that's going to happen. There are and the auction even has like lists of things that are being donated from different shops or wealthy philanthropists and everything. So it has like who is contributing, almost like sponsorships essentially. There's the auction that's going to happen. You can see a big long table and a banner going up for a pie eating contest. There are like normal carnival games, so like fantasy medieval kind of versions of those things. So there's like a straight up ring toss. There's also darts kind of thrown at bladders, kind of like darts at balloons, sort of comparative there. There is one of those mallets, and like the mallet hammer onto the low pedestal to make the weight go up and ding the bell, kind of test of strength sort of stuff there. And then kind of off to the side in the biggest clearing area on the interior of Southgate, you see something being kind of put together, a circular platform with various fanciful creatures that have been carved out, some of which are actually look like they're potentially like statuary. Others look like they're kind of more interpretations, kind of hastily constructed together with wood, of like different things like Pegasi or like griffins or like those sorts of things, all on a circular platform. And it looks like some arcane casters are ritual casting a spell for what will be a merry-go-round. A merry-go-round. And there's a couple other things that are being constructed, but they're not quite done yet. There's a arena that's being set up for wrestling and other physical challenge events that are one-on-one kind of versus things. Over by the kind of stables, there's some signs directing that there'll be a dressage exhibition over in that direction. What are you all interested in doing? And we'll kind of move time appropriately so that like these things have time to get set up and be happening, or you can do it before everything's set up. It's kind of what your characters will be, a little loose with time here, and everything. So what are your
Are you able just to put in the chat like a list of the contests?
Yeah. And also feel free to be inspired if you would, if you have a thought of, it's like, is this here kind of thing. I'm not against any kind of thing. So I'm gonna put in the chat auction wrestling.
Could you not put it in that chat? Because I can't look at it without changing the
Oh
entire
yeah.
layout.
You want me to put it in the which chat do you want me to put it in?
Chataway works, or even our other server.
General chat over on the campaign server.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, melee. Contest.
I think an easier question is, what is Fang not interested in doing?
Yes, Fang would
Which-
try like absolutely everything.
Ash!
Except for the dressage.
And the talking part.
Mm.
I
And
mean,
the
she would
talking,
try.
yes.
She would try. But she wouldn't do well, but she'd try.
Dressage.
She would, if Hicks and Nhudrel went up, she would try to mimic them very quietly to herself.
I want to throw shit at the balloons. Which I hate balloons in real life.
That'd be fun.
My sister's terrified of balloons. I have to hold. The
I just
balloon.
hate them popping. It hurts my ears.
That's fair.
Fortunately, these are
Yeah.
bladders, so they're a little less snappy.
They're bladders.
Yeah, they're bladder. They're inflated. They're what balloons were until we
So that-
before
That's fair.
rubber
That's
existed.
fair. That's fair.
The
that's
actual
fair.
game is miss the bladder so you don't get covered in piss.
Oh my god.
That's the real challenge.
Wow.
How to not get covered in piss. God, it's so difficult not to get covered in piss at the Miss the Bladders game.
You baby boy.
Strength.
Hello, my little
Mouth,
chicken nugget.
bone,
Chicken
ringtones.
nugget. Did you wake up?
Is it taco?
Yes.
Oh, biz boy.
Did you wake up, my little baby?
Good boy. Also, I'm so mad at
Bye,
Ash
buddy.
right now. How fucking rude. Alright, so I think Nhudrel's probably gonna keep an eye on both Fang and Yuri. Hicks he has deemed as the one that won't cause chaos.
Fang would never.
Not intentionally, no.
Not intentionally.
Something.
I'm not going
Might
to do anything
break one of these things.
bad. Maybe.
Maybe.
Melble.
No, everything I do will be for good, I promise. It'll be for a good cause.
I look forward.
Why is my brain not remembering the word for a vertical ride? Not a carousel or a merry-go-round.
The one that shoots up and it bounces.
No,
No,
a
no,
Ferris
no,
Oh,
no,
wheel.
the Ferris
Ferris
wheel.
my brain was like, it's wheel something. I just could not remember the word Ferris.
We should definitely stick Yuri and Hicks in a Ferris wheel, and then they will totally make up and be friends. That's absolutely how it works, right?
No, one of them would jump out.
Yeah.
It just
Yuri would probably
Probably
get
be
bored and
Hicks.
jump out.
Hicks will
After,
jump
like,
out
2
because he
seconds.
wants just to not be there.
We both have high decks. We'll be fine.
I'm sorry, it's raining, man. Just look at the view.
okay. So this is not that filler episode then. Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, here's most of what's going on. I may invent some other things in the moment.
Good lord, that's a lot. Okay.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
Hicks will
God.
probably want to go to the auction just to maybe speak to some of the rich bitches.
Yep.
There's
Oh,
like
and-
carnival
He takes
games
talk
as well.
to the rich bitches.
The rich bitches.
I'm
what's-
putting Nhudrel in a sack race.
Did I say the mayor's name was Shembley?
Why? Why would you put
I don't know, it'd be really funny to watch him fall on his face.
I don't think there's a sack big enough for him.
I
If-
apologize.
Any of the
I just-
contests.
Oh, go on.
Oh, any of the contests that Fang does, Yuri's going to sign up for,
A
And-
buddy!
including the strength
They're
ones.
like besties.
Oh
They're like besties. I love
no!
this.
thought-
so
She's not gonna want to wrestle Yuri.
No, that's okay. Then that's an easy win for you. Easy.
Yeah.
We're going to get you ranking up. Don't you worry.
no.
Just to make sure, did I say the mayor's name was Shembley?
Dimly, yeah.
Chumley. Yeah.
No B. I think there was no B.
What flavor did you brew? Chocolate glazed donut? That is quite the smell.
That's quite a mouthful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
Calm
Wow.
down, Reia.
Yeah.
Sorry, my partner is here for vacation. May I have the hand, please?
I feel like
Oh,
I
you get
phased out
this-
for
you
2
get this
seconds
time.
and missed
Yeah.
something.
Mr. Big Hands.
So all I
Mr.
can
Big-
say is I may pretend to be horny on main, but the actual horny one is actually Reia.
Oh yeah. But nonetheless, so yeah, those are in the chat. And again, if any of you come up with something where you're like, this would probably be at a festival, feel free to insert it into the thing. me sort of having a handful of like loose festival activities.
What
that
are those
kinda easy to
things?
set up.
You know when you like shoot the fluffy toy and then you get it, kind of thing. There could be something like that as well, and they have like little bow and arrows. I don't know what it's called though.
Huh?
Like when you shoot a target, and then if you shoot X many targets, you get the
Oh yeah,
big
there would
fluffy
certainly
bear.
be.
Whatever
Oh,
it's called.
like usually in modern days, it's usually done with an airsoft rifle kind of
Yeah.
thing, like an air gun.
But like this would be done with like a blunt
Yeah,
bow and arrow kind of thing.
like a bow and arrow thing. Yeah, there'd definitely be like an archery type thing that would absolutely be there. So
Is
I
laser
can
tag
add-
but with arrows?
Well, no, it's more like
Wait, what? I want to do that. Which one's that?
laser tag with arrow. Oh, you know what? All right.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
want to
gonna
do
edit
laser
this.
tag with arrows.
Can we have an archery contest?
Except this thing-
So,
Laser
yeah,
tag
definitely
with
an archery
arrow!
contest, which is more like the wind, wind stuffed animals.
Oh my god.
Animals and then there's laser tag with arrows. Arrows, which is not called what will I call it?
Oh, it'll have like the powder paint, it'll have like a sack with powder paint in it, so
that
when
the
it hits
paint, like it's paintball. It's paintball with arrows.
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
That sounds like something Euro would be into, to be fair.
crossbow.
that's how you gauge who got what
I'm
points.
gonna call it. Oh, and there's also netball.
Oh, I can't use a
Um,
crossbow. Shit, I can only use a normal bow. Fuck.
Well, no, it's just called crossbolt tag, but you can use a short bow if you want to. But essentially, it's a short range laser tag with arrows.
Oh, I can use a crossbow as a bard. Huh, the more you know.
But yeah. So that's your that's your list, and then there is a formal like archery contest in the kind of style that Yama was talking about, where there's like a diorama. There's like a setting with like little targets that pop up, and you try and shoot them real quick. And the more of them you hit, the higher your point score. The higher your point score, the more you win prizes. I would actually like. Let's see who has magic right now. Hicks and Yuri, can you please roll an Arcana check for me, please?
No.
With my
Okay.
-1, by all means.
And with my
Mhm.
0, yeah, sure. That's a 12 for me.
Okay. DC is not super high on this.
We haven't leveled up yet, have we?
No.
No, not yet.
Okay, just checking.
Jess got a 15 if you didn't hear, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Let me set this up and make sure I've got that up. Okay, we're good. Okay, so
You have a -1 to Arcana?
it's an intelligence skill, unfortunately.
Hicks is really dumb. That's why he's so
He's
cocky.
pretty.
He's very pretty.
It's
You
very
don't gotta
pretty.
don't gotta be smart if you're cute.
That's what I haven't done yet. Shit, I'm so
And
sorry,
he
Ash.
speaks well. He doesn't actually need to. As long as he can convince people what he's saying is true, that's fine.
Okay, real quick for people in chat. Could we just quickly say what race we are and what class our characters are?
Starting with you.
Starting with me? Yes. Okay. I am actually a Vidalcan fighter.
A frog.
I am not a fucking frog.
Frog.
I'm not a frog. I'm
There's
not
a frog on a bowl of noodles.
Cold noodle frog.
I think
You were-
that's still my token.
You are a custom. It is. You are a custom D&D race called Noodle Frogs.
How dare you? How dare
No,
you?
'cause if you're
The
playing the
lot
frog
of
people, you gotta die within like 6 hours of being out of water. Those are the
Fuck
some people rules.
How dare you?
That was
Alright.
loud. I did not enjoy that. What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry. I'll give you a
I don't know.
warning
No,
next
what was
time.
it? What was it?
That was just my
Just a
voice mod.
A voice mod?
Oh, okay. That genuinely, I thought someone was in the call then. I was having a bit of an existential crisis.
No, that's.
It's like, who the fuck was that?
I'm so sorry.
Who? What?
I forget that people aren't used to this. I'm not a blue noodly ash. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, Hicks, who are you?
Hicks is a
You kid.
warlock. I mean, it can be a dick in your head if you want. I mean, by all means, we've had this discussion. Yuri's gonna have my babies. Anyway, he is a
okay.
hexblade warlock Shadokai. I think we can
And
Jack.
what is Fang?
Fang is a half shifter, barbarian cave woman. Is that all the right descriptors?
Yeah, sure.
Me and my goldfish brain. What? What are we doing?
Did you say your race?
Yeah, just your
Yes,
race and your class.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just race
okay.
and class.
Half shifter barbarian.
Mhm.
Or shifter barbarian.
Shifter barbarian. Yeah.
So
Shifter
cute.
barbarian.
And Fang is accused as shifter. Fight me.
She a big woman.
Cutest
She is.
7.
We don't know any
tall.
others, but
No,
you know, it makes
she's-
Fang feel good
Isn't
about
she
herself.
8 foot tall?
Oh no, almost 8
I'm-
foot tall.
I'm
Fang is almost
7
8
foot.
tall. Yeah,
I don't.
giant parties every time.
We have
thank
a
you,
normal
Yuri.
size Yuri. We have a normal size Yuri.
We got a midget.
Hicks is normal.
We have
Hicks
Morts.
Hicks is a reasonable height. And then what is Yuri?
Oh, an Eladrin bard.
Ladrin Bard. Very, very fancy green boy.
How tall is Yuri?
5'5".
5'5". Remember, I made Sam make him shrink so that he was perfect height for me. Oh,
I love that actually happened though. You're like,
Bullied,
af-
bullied
after
into
session.
going from an average heighted man to a slightly short man. Oh,
Because like this just gives
absolutely.
me and Yama getting photos done. Yama's like, no, down, lower. You're too tall for the photo.
So anyway, there's a festival going on. There's a festival going on. I see that Yama and Sam have both kind of put in what they're initially interested in and everything like that. But of these items, so there's some interest obviously in the auction, various carnival games, the open performance, which is essentially a kind of a audience applause based kind of performer challenge, similar to an open mic. Dressage, a little bit of archery. What is Fang interested in? And you don't have to type it in here. You can also just kind of shout it out as is necessary.
Everything but the open mic, dressage, and auction, but she's there to support the companions.
Okay. And then what about Nhudrel?
Sorry, I was heavily distracted. What was the question?
What things do you want to compete in?
Yeah.
I honestly think Nhudrel will not actually actively compete in anything, but he's the I'm on the sideline supporting you
Okay.
thing, unless Fang drags him into the game. He's pretty much the I will hold your bags guy. Yeah.
All right. Right. Well.
He's the con parent, the convention parent.
All right.
Exactly.
We'll start with Hicks. We'll start light. We'll start with carnival game. What carnival game is? Are you interested in the kind of like the target shoot archery, or the ring toss, or the bladder? I think the bladder dodge, where you try to throw a dart and not get covered in piss. String.
Picky.
But ball roll, which is basically skee ball. What
fuck is
would
skee
Hicks
ball?
be drawn to?
What the fuck is?
I also had to Google it, and then I saw the
yeah,
machine,
well,
and then I was like,
it's-
that's...
Yeah, it's the thing where you roll the ball up the lane and it's got the circle targets at the end of it, and you try and get it to drop into the.
Oh,
You get like 9 balls to roll
is
in.
that what it's
That's what skee ball
called?
is.
Oh, is that thing they do in like the Hannah Montana shows and shit like that?
Yeah.
I have no
I'm sure.
fucking
I
clue.
don't
I watch
I haven't
Hannah
seen
Montana.
Hannah Montana, but I am 100% confident.
No, I
'cause
don't
it's
exactly mean that. It's just like the weird, like American kid, like not kid shows, like when Americans in an
It's-
arcade. It's that thing that everyone.
Yes.
Hannah Montana is
The American
definitely a
cartoon.
kid show, but yeah, it's the kind of thing that would be in the chain restaurant arcades of Dave and Buster's and stuff like that, like the big like.
Sure, love Dave.
Love Dave, hate Buster though. Buster's.
No, we don't need to be mean about my dog like that, you dick.
Oh, I didn't know you had a dog
Joking.
named Buster.
Well, I didn't. He's dead, bitch.
Oh, Jesus.
Just making it worse and worse.
Nothing but
I know
traps.
you've just disrespected my dog. That's really mean.
That's a disadvantage for my challenge
Yeah.
rolls, lowering the DC.
I get
on
advantage to every contest. Thank you.
Every
I have
contest.
to change the music to this because you guys are ridiculous.
Yeah. So let's start with one of the carnival games. Hicks, what are you drawn to?
I think you would probably. What? So there's like archery.
Oh, I never answered the Arcana. I got distracted by the list.
Oh yeah.
With both the 12 and a 15 Arcana check, it wasn't a high DC because it's just about. It's not so much a detect magic as so much you can sense, like essentially arcanic energy and everything. People that are tuned or attuned to magic or come from very magical spaces can usually sense things that are without any real information, but just that are like, that is not a normal thing. That is an inert object. That's not an inert object. That is a real. That thing's humming with some fashion of arcanic energy. A number of the prizes and different like booths and things. Nothing particularly powerful or overwhelming or anything, but there's like a surprising amount of like team of what's essentially low level magic happening around this festival. It's not something that Nhudrel can quite access yet, and it's something that Fang would notice at all. But for Hicks and Yuri, I wouldn't say anything to be concerned about, but almost a bit of a surprise. Like a bit of a surprise, but like you can definitely tell that it's like, oh, stuff that wasn't around town for Hicks for the last few days, or that Yuri didn't sense at all yesterday, is sort of like humming about magically. Sort of like people that can kind of sense if there's a lot of electromagnetic field.
Yeah. Where is this? Is this? Oh, so it's just like in general. It's not anyway.
Scattered. It's scattered about. You definitely get from the rides. You definitely get it. You can literally see people doing the rituals. But like some of the prizes that can be won, some of the things where they're like collecting things for auction. I would say the energy's strongest in the auction section. That isn't immediately explainable by watching a mage do a ritual.
Do shit. Yeah.
We're so rich.
Yeah, and so that's where some of the things, and they did mention that they were opening up this civic kind of treasury for it, and that other people were donating items. So it does seem like this. Hicks, you know from being around that it is not uncommon for kind of a lot of it seems to be of popular fare for a lot of the wealth class of a drain to be very interested in little magical bips and bobs. It's not that wizards and stuff. There's literally a university that people can go to in a drain, and they have a whole category of magical and arcane studies. But it seems to be in fashion, if you will, to be like, oh, this thing can do a little like fun little image trick, or this thing can magically make sounds or record voices, or this thing can communicate over distances, like little magic items. There's not really a lot of retailers in a drain that like have that en masse. It's not doesn't have that kind of juice, but there's lots of like the things are around. And of them, I would imagine Hicks would at least assume that there's probably more powerful things about. They're just not, in local markets or at somebody's like summer home and things like that. But yeah, it seems like they've brought out some of the better goods for the region in this thing. But yeah, you can even tell. I'd say that you'd even be able to tell like some of the stuffed animals and prizes for the carnival games are even like magically revealed.
Okay, well then I guess like Hicks would obviously notice the magic-y shit around the auction. But he would kind of wants to maybe like try and gain like the attention of higher ups so that he can speak to people. So he would try his hand at like a couple of games first to see if that would work. But then after that he'd probably head to the auction. So yeah, I guess like I don't know, archery.
Yeah, the speed target shooting, if you will. The archery here, and it's a little bit more distant than it would be at like our carnival games where it's done with the little air compressor guns. But like you can see like a setup of like a scene of mostly like a scene is set up that looks kind of like a coal mine kind of thing, and there's like little like painted monster wood cutouts and everything, and then little targets are kind of popping out and then popping under again, and it becomes very easy to judge, oh, the game is under a certain amount of time, hit as many targets as you can with either a bow or a crossbow or some other or a slingshot if that's your preferred thing, but some sort of ranged attack, if you will.
I'm just gonna fucking Eldritch Blast all of them. How's that?
I mean,
That's accurate.
That's a choice that you can make.
And I just throw the arrows.
Yeah, you could throw. You could lob things. But yeah, we can either do this one of two ways. You can either do it the roll to hit kind of way. You can do Eldritch Blast, Hicks. If
No, he wouldn't do that. That would draw a little bit too much attention.
Or you can we can just do a flat like dexterity check, like either an acrobatics check or like or just a dexterity throw, whatever like works better for your character stat wise. If I look at your character sheet, I can probably define it. Where are you?
Mine's fine to do archery as well.
Yeah, of course. Anyone can participate in any games that anyone else engages in. These are not. I'm not like one-to-oneing these for each of you.
Nhudrel's just gonna buy food and follow them around to whatever games they go to.
And you can, of course, if you want to. I'm looking at Hicks's skill set, and I don't think there's anything that you would get that would be above your sort of like +4. But if you want to use your like +6 to hit on something, you don't really have any ranged weapon, but you know you could convince me that you could probably do it if you had something that made Hicks make sense for that.
Well, I mean, wouldn't they have like little like bows and shit just like there? Like,
They
yeah,
do.
use this bow. Yeah, so he'd just take that. And probably look at it and be like, wow, this is very shit quality. This is probably not even going to
it's a poor
shoot
quality
straight
bow.
kind of thing.
It's a poor quality bow that you almost immediately have to be like, all right, I need to pivot how I use this.
Yeah, you'd probably look at it like a little bit in disgust, like, wow, you call this a weapon? That's embarrassing.
This is a weapon.
This children's game weapon is not martially attuned. How dare it?
How do you expect me to take this game seriously?
You got to teach them young. And so yeah, so for I think you're probably proficient in just kind of general simple martially weapons, right?
Yeah, he is proficient in martial and simple, so.
Yeah, so you can do +6 to this, and just roll it. We're not going to extend it and make you roll like 20 times here. We're just
Wait, why would you get +6? What's your dex?
4.
4.
Yeah, no, because I've got 4. I don't think.
Are you?
I have +5.
Do you use so you?
Oh no, to lie, I do have +3. That's my bad. I forgot. That.
But yeah, and so if you're able to use a bow of any kind of ranged weapon, you can do it like a normal weapon attack and add your normal 2-hit bonus, and give me a roll, and we'll do best two. We'll do 3. We'll do 3 rolls,
okay, well.
and it'll be kind of like a It's great if you hit all 3 of them.
Huh.
2 out of 3
Okay,
is
well.
pretty good. Anything less?
That'd be 16 then.
16 for the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Where is the little campaign thingy?
I don't know. 14.
There it is.
And 16 again.
14. So there we go. There it is.
Yeah, so 16, 14, 16.
16, 14, 16.
Yeah.
For Hicks. Yuri, if you do this again, 3 just attack rolls with your plus bonus.
Oh god, lag. That is 16. A 22.
Holy shit.
Oh, you have an actual bow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
but
weapon.
it's
the
16,
same- yeah.
22, 17.
All
Oh,
right.
shit.
So both of you
I think it's a maze.
fully succeed at hitting like the maximum amount of targets. I will allow, because I just love the dynamic between the 2 of you. How is it
Fang, yes, go
different-
queen!
how is it different between Fang?
Fang.
She did it, though. She got 2.
I didn't hit one of them. I got 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
You got 2 out of the 3. So Fang, you don't do quite as well as Hicks and Yuri. But what is it? Knowing that Yuri rolled better than Hicks, what does that look? I'll let you two, Yama, Yama and Sam, express.
Well, I mean,
what that
he
looks
used the shitty, like, given bow, so he'd just kind of be like, eh.
Eh.
Like, he didn't have, like, a fancy thing. He just took the thing and...
Does Yuri,
oh my
like,
dear God.
rub...
He's blaming the
rub it
weapon.
in?
Yes.
I think at this moment he's almost doing it like he's not trying to rub it in, which may rub it in more in the sense that he does not look like he's trying. He literally just drew the bow and went pew 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 and then just walked off.
Just walked off.
But that's probably what Hicks did as well. Like, he's not like, oh, my life is on the line. He's just kind of like, oh,
He
shit,
just he just kind of walks over and goes prize please, and then just waits
Prize,
for the
please.
prize.
Okay. Give me just a moment. While I'm pulling this up for Fang, Fang, you get it's probably about the size of like I don't know. It's probably about it's the size of a small plushie. So like a smaller size, but it's like a little bunny rabbit. That's got little button eyes and its little like sewn mouth. Very kind of classic bunny rabbit that Fang gets. It's a non magical thing. Where is it?
I love that.
Fang was very much cheering for Hicks and Fury, and then when she went, she's just happy she got anything really. She's taking the rabbit. And she's like, oh, she's never had a plushie before, so she's like, oh.
Golly, if you fall
funny.
into your water bottle, I swear to God. She's trying to get a bug above her water. Oh, I can just see this
no.
cat about to fall in.
Oh, Dolly, no. Well, I feel like Nhudrel will absolutely just hold on to the plushie for her for the next game.
Oh, Nhudrel, protect her with your life.
I will.
So I need Hicks and Yuri. Please roll me each a D100 and divide it by 2.
Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Which
Oh
one's
my
the 100
God.
again?
I can't do.
Maths. I don't know. That's an odd number.
Or you can give me the
30.
number and I'll round
It's
it.
77.
Yeah, and I got
70.
23.
Okay, so either 11 or 12, and then for 77 it would be 30.
Oh no, I divided it. So I got 46.
Oh, 23 is
originally.
after division for you, and then for 77 it would be what, 38 or 39.
Right, like that.
All right. So for Yuri, you get a prize, and it's a pair of, and you can feel just the lowest level of magical, of magical socks. You get a little prize, magical socks.
Socks.
Each sock is individually enchanted. They're not necessarily connected,
Oh my freaking god.
or they are kind of
Woohoo.
connected. But yeah.
Are they teleporting socks? Are they Spider-Man socks? Can he
They're
just
not
like walk like up a wall?
Yes, in the first carnival game, that's super simple. At a normal in the first town, I'm just gonna give you fucking wall walking socks. That's how
Absolute
fun you-
temperature
Yeah.
regulating socks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the gift that would be. I don't think does Yuri have any kind of like magical identifying spells or anything like that? Like, I can't
No.
remember. If you don't have that, I'll just make it simple then, because these are simple items. It's a pair of socks. They're enchanted, and they help you find other magical socks. So you get magical socks that help you find more magical socks.
Yuriful holds the socks like he doesn't really understand what socks are because he's just been given them, and he's like, because he wears leaves, he doesn't fucking wear socks. And he just looks at them, walks up to Nhudrel,
Oh god.
and kind of does like the up action with his hands, like he's expecting to be lifted, and just waits for a moment. Do you lift him?
He tries.
Yeah, he'll put
It's
a
like
sock on each of your ear.
It's like reflex.
Yeah, he puts the sock on each of your ears,
On each of
and then just
my
gets,
ears.
and then he just walks off. So you now have the magical
Okay,
sock.
so something about Vidalcan, they don't have external ears.
Oh, damn it! Oh, well, he tried, and then he realised you don't have ears, and then he looked really disappointed, and then he just gets off silently and leaves the socks in your hands as he walks off.
All right. And this is
Yuri.
amazing for Hicks. Hicks, you get an enchanted dagger. It's
Ooh.
called the Dagger of Healing. It heals the same amount of damage that it inflicts every time.
Oh, you've
I
literally
see.
just got a torture weapon.
Yeah.
I
here, Yuri.
hate this.
Hicks gets, so yeah, if it does 4 damage, it instantly heals the 4 damage. It's essentially, it's not useful in that way, but it is a fun item. And
It is if they're on 1
so,
health, because then they die and come back multiple times, and you can make them see Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, you
So,
can use it nefariously, I suppose.
Make Hicks upset because he could just stab us, and there's not really consequence besides this trauma of Hicks just stabbing us.
Well, I think there's consequence in the fact we'd probably retaliate if he stabs us.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Almost certainly.
We gave
Um,
Hicks a torture device.
Yeah, he
I
probably
mean-
has
I
them
mean-
already. It's fine.
It was between that or a torch of dark vision, which allows the holder to have dark vision, but only when the torch is lit, thus blinding the owner. This is from the nifty nerd list of 50 useless magical items
Oh my
or magic
freaking
items that add some
gosh.
whimsy
Wait,
to
so
your game.
this dagger is, I mean, it's useless, but it's useful at the same time.
There's
it's
a lot
useful
of
for
use
torture.
you can have to knowing that your dagger won't actually harm someone, but being able to threaten
Oh,
someone.
it will harm them,
confidently.
but it just won't
Well, it'll
kill
harm
them.
them, but it can't kill them. And
This is the most
later-
useful thing you're going to get the whole campaign.
It
Well, I
might
guess-
be.
Yes, it's going to have far too many
great
uses for
threatening
this.
weapon.
Listen.
But yeah, that's how the dice go.
It's useless toy, but in the right hands. And
Yeah, it
a
would be
good
useless
flavor
for
weapon.
everyone in the campaign other than Jess.
it's pretty much.
Yeah,
Um,
Hicks would then like take it, turn it over a couple of times, look at it, and just give it an approving little nod, and then just like put it somewhere in his robe.
This is the
Oh, I really thought I was about to
closest.
get stabbed.
This is the closest Hicks has ever
I'll do
come
that
to
later.
smiling ever.
But like he still has his like hood up and everything, so that's like he
Yeah.
doesn't ever like
It's-
really take his robe or his hood off
I
when he's
just-
outside.
I just need you to. There's some amazing items on this list of like the masochist shield. It screams for more.
Wait,
when
don't
it's
tell us
hit.
too much because we don't know what
Wait.
else we might win.
You might win other things. Yeah, I
I
won't.
want the shield.
No,
You-
what?
that's-
That'll be
Why?
funny.
You have to win and roll
That
for
screams
it.
for more.
Oh,
It would be funny.
No.
But nonetheless, so that first carnival game succeeded with a bunny, some useless magical socks for Yuri that might be Nhudrels now, unclear.
Yeah, they're neutrals now.
They're Nhudrels now, and they don't require attunement or anything. They're just fun little magical socks. And then a dagger that does damage and then instantly heals that amount of damage it just did.
Good lord.
All right. What do you want to go to next? What do you want to pursue or things? There's other games. You can do other strength tests. You can jump over to the auction. You can get set up for the pie eating contest. What do you want to?
Well, like do something that like I don't know. What's the next one? Is Nhudrel gonna do anything, or is he kind of just gonna follow along?
Literally, unless you make him or like drag him into a game, he is designated bag holder. He will cheer from the
Fang wants him to
sidelines.
do the open mic.
Oh dear God, no! Why?
That's
Why?
such a cruel thing to force someone to do as well. It's beautiful.
That is so amazing.
It's like when you force someone to do karaoke. That's just horrible. But I support it.
I think Hicks wouldn't actually be too bad on the performance open mic one, but because he doesn't like that kind of stuff, I don't think he'd actually do it.
But yeah. There's the rides are like pretty much set up. So you can do the rides. You can do a perception check to see if you want like what might have an interesting thing, which is basically me as the GM being like, I put you in this thing that you've mentioned that you're interested in. Fang, it doesn't take you long. I'll give this to Fang right out the gate. There's not a long line for it. There's the mallet bell game, the mallet bell ringing game. You know, the big mallet swinging over your head and everything.
Yeah, I was about to say let's do that next for Fang.
Yeah, that one's a simple one. You watch as you approach. There's some beefy boys that have been trying to do this. This is not like a make your little kid feel good mallet game. This is a actual test of strength mallet game, a genuinely powerful thing. Just to give you an idea, the DC to succeed at this is a 20. To actually ring the bell, and everything. And so, if you want to roll up and swing a mallet around, feel free. The floor is yours.
Wait, before Fang does, Yuri
Oh.
will just basically he'll just walk up to her and be like, "Wait, oh shit, what was I gonna say? Oh no, my brain's
gonna be
died."
Arctic.
Yeah, I'm giving you bardic inspiration. I can't remember what Yuri's gonna say, but it was something really inspiring. I promise.
This is amazing. Fang, your emotions.
The way Fang is going to be very touched by whatever he says.
So you can add
Aw.
1d6 to your roll.
At 1d6 to my roll. Yeah. Forgive me. There we go. Oh, nope. Oh. Doesn't make it.
Oh, it's an 18.
Yeah.
I need it to be a 20 to hit the bell, though.
Yeah, it needs to be a 20. So Fang, when you swing down the mallet that the person hands you, you all hear it. It slams with intent. It definitely wouldn't want. No one would want to be on the receiving end of that mallet, and the weight gets almost there, but then drops down and hits the bottom of the track with a thud. And everything. Anyone else want to test their strength on this?
No.
Oh, Fang, you rolled a regular strength check, right?
Yeah.
No, I apologize. This should be an athletics check. It's a test of strength. That's an athletics check, straight up, not just the strength check.
Oh.
You'll probably still get your
So-
D6 then if that didn't count. You don't need
Well-
it.
Well, she's fine.
There you go.
Use it anyway and break the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you want to use
Break
the. I mean, it's the bard. This is a beach episode. We're not
So I re-roll my bardic.
Yeah.
yeah,
do it.
reroll your
Perfect.
bardic. Come on. If you get a 4 or higher, what did you get?
Still loading for me. 5. Guess she broke it, man.
Oh no.
It went right off the
Fang.
bell, then right. Pew!
Fang, you
Fang.
go up, and people in literally like city guard have been doing this. People that look like they're built like lumberjacks have been doing this, and they've been just barely. You saw one other person happen to just hit it. Fang, you roll up, towering over everyone else. You grab them out. It almost looks like a one-handed weapon in your hand. You peel up, and then maybe because you had to like survive, you understand, of course, that you want to use the leverage of the lever that your hands create when you swing a mallet straight down, similarly to how you would split wood with an axe, and you bring down the full force of this weight to the bell, and the bell itself doesn't dislodge, though it does dent aggressively, but then the weight comes off of the track and kind of shoots over your head and thuds down onto the ground behind you and everything. And there's light applause and a couple gasps as they see you do this, as they see you just like bang this and hit the top of the prize. Give me a D100 divided by 2, Fang.
Ix is just gonna watch Fang do this and then just like compliment her. Just like, that was a very good hit. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good form,
Thank you.
square shoulders.
That she's gonna
Excellent
pick up
posture.
the weight and the posture.
They
She's gonna give the weight back to the person working the.
have to hold it with 2
Okay.
hands. And they're like, "Ah, fuck it." And another person comes to assist them to get it back onto its track. The bell doesn't sound the same.
Yuri's so smug right now.
Yeah, Yuri, you get the sense that you somehow contributed to that that bit of damage. Definitely feels good. What did you get, Reia?
95
Divided by 2
divided
is
by
45.
2,
So 47 and 48.
47.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it when it gives the odd numbers, because then I get to pick what I think is more fun.
Like, why is that the number?
All right. What's funnier for Fang? Because both of these are amazing. I'm gonna say this one. Because it's less mean and it's more just funny. Fang, they hand you what looks like, it's not quite. So at first it looks like a very like poorly made metal sword, and then you realize that it's actually a fairly well made wooden sword. It's a short sword, so in your hand it looks almost like a long dagger. And they hand it to you, and they're like, "Here's your sword of warning." And so the sword of warning is a sword that warns you only for things that you already see coming. And so it just and at this very moment, some people playing catch, they toss a ball off to the side, and the ball is coming toward your head from behind, and Fang, and it's just a little soft, like, again, inflated intestinal part turned into a ball. The ball like comes, and it just like lightly bats you on the head, and then you just hear from the sword, "Hey, there's ball coming for your head." Just like a second after it lightly bats you on the head. So you get the sword of warning, a sword that calls out when a thing is probably going to hurt you, or
That's-
just after it hurts you.
That's
Only when it is inevitable can the sword make noise.
amazing.
Nhudrel, I have talking weapon.
It is a
Magic
talking
weapon!
It does count as a magic weapon. So if you were to hit something that was resistant to regular melee, but you were to hit it with this very finely made, durably hardwood made sword, it wouldn't resistance would not count because it is a magic weapon if they're not resistant to magical weapons. So be bludgeoning
She's so
damage,
proud of
wouldn't
the
be
sword.
slashing, but all
She's
right.
so proud of this weapon and her bunny.
Fang's having the best day of her life.
Yeah.
She
Bunny,
is,
you got
and
a
then she
stuffed
just
bunny,
hears
you got
like,
a talking sword.
thank you.
Nhudrel, give me a perception check.
Nom, 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 nom.
If you would be so kind.
Where's my point? There we go. Whee! Wow, I'm great at this. I'm so
He
excited.
can't see over all the things that he's been giving.
Yeah, I'm just having like a mountain of stuff. I rolled an 8.
Even with an 8, you notice a little bit that with Yuri and Hicks both just like quickly solving a game and then essentially like grabbing their prize and walking off, and then your group migrating over to the strength test where Fang just
Frustrated.
broke it a little bit, broke it a little bit. And there's some people taking notice, but you don't notice anyone of specific or important at this point.
Great.
So next, I'm going to say the next event would be either the open mic, the melee, the eating contest, the pie eating contest, or sausage eating contest, or the let's go with the I'm trying to pull from things that people have done this, so the melee, the open mic, or the pie/sausage eating contest, and then the next thing would be the auction. Looks like it's gonna come up after that. Which do
I
you
want
all
to
want?
open mic.
Open mic?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
Yeah, do the open mic. Fang, do you try to encourage? Do you sign Nhudrel up for the open mic? Because there's like a sign-up sheet. Or Yuri, do
She
you sign
crudely,
other people up? Like, does anyone sign anyone else up beside themselves?
I don't think Yuri does. Yuri though. Oh no, Yuri wouldn't write his name down anywhere though.
You notice
Yuri would
Yuri
flat out
glancing-
refuse.
Yeah, you notice Yuri. There are people that literally are signing it with like an X or like a description of
God.
themselves.
Okay,
with really
Yuri
bad
signs
language.
his name. I'm gonna write it down. I know what he signs his name as. He's going to sign his name as
Mostly what they're going to call out to get you to come up to stage. When it's your turn.
There we go.
Okay.
is Hicks signed up for this?
And
No,
he'll go by
he
Mark.
doesn't
He'll go. Yeah, there we go.
Yuri
Yep,
just
I'll-
writes Nhudrel down as a bowl of noodles. Just draws noodles.
So Yuri,
I can
Yuri
give you
wrote,
all a fake name if you want.
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, does Fang write Nhudrel down?
Fang crudely writes down Nhudrel's name, and however she can imagine Hicks is spelt, which is probably not correct.
Oh no.
But no putting Hicks down. Hicks is like, what? I don't want to perform.
The
name
But
is
written
great
down?
at speaking.
You're great at speaking.
Fang is not a subtle person, so you both see that Fang is doing that.
Oh, God.
But nonetheless, a person that is called up as you are both listing your names, a half elf, scrawny, like one of those people who looks like no matter how much they eat, they'll never gain weight, kind of people. Whereas like they just cannot keep mass to them. It comes out and sings like a sonnet that literally has like 3 notes that repeat over like 20 verses. It's a fucking dirge of a night. It's not a
With
dirge.
Druidcraft, I make a little tomato and offer it to Hinks to throw.
Oh my god.
I'm flirting with pigs to just shove it in Yuri's face. Just like,
Yuri has a tomato smushed in his face, and then he just walks off and starts cleaning himself up.
This is amazing.
Fang is like droning off to sleep. She's like standing just.
It's the crowd is not excited, and the announcer is like, "Thank you so much."
Nhudrel is sitting there, like, quietly, grammatically correcting everything. like,
Yeah.
just...
It's real E.E. Cummings level of delivery on that. The lack of grammar on that. Like the words don't make sense.
Yeah,
The notes are all gently off key.
I think
and the
Nhudrel's
announcer's like,
looking in literal pain. He looks like he's
"Thanks,
on the verge
Blake."
of crying.
This poor man. He's like, he took 6 years to be like strong enough to sing in public for the first time.
Thanks,
Go
Blake.
home and
We
cry.
really appreciate what you have
He quit
to
his job for
offer.
this.
He's gonna become a famous rapper one day.
Oh yeah.
Oh no! Okay, never mind. We can stop this. We can...
Next up on the list, I don't know how to pronounce the apostrophe. Marvelous Thick Branch. Marvelous Thick
No,
Branch.
Yuri just starts cackling. He forgets that he hasn't spoke off. He's just cackling so loudly.
Hicks is
Marvelous.
just looking at him like side-eyed.
Yeah,
Bombastic
and then
Fang is
sack.
confused until like
Hicks-
Yuri goes up.
Hicks eventually is just. I mean, Yuri. Oh god. He just casually walks over.
Oh. Marvelous Thick Branch.
That has been my
all-
alias.
Several. You clock several of the people in the age group that had clocked you earlier get the joke, or at least get the implication that the joke could be. They get the double entendre a little bit, and everything, as a bunch of youths, youths sit in the audience. All right, Yuri, what do you do for the open mic?
I think. Well, he'll sing in Sylvan, so probably no one will actually know what he's singing, but he will tell, or well, sing a fable about one of his family members in Sylvan. No one will know anyway. But he'll just be like singing about his family and what they mean to him and blah 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 blah. But very homely. But he's gonna be casting to try and. He wants to win because it's performance, and I'm a bard, I guess. It'd be really helpful if I had college glamour, because then I would have to bribe them with magic. But that's a level away. So he's going to be casting minor illusions, and basically like figures made out of like petals. The petals resembling the different seasonal colors of his family members will be doing kind of a ballet and telling the story as he performs it. And it will end with a big, made out of like cherry blossoms, but instead they're kind of green and white cherry blossoms. The last figure is kind of like a rearing equine figure that kind of curls up around Yuri as he finishes his song playing the harp.
Aww.
That's very sweet. I assume it's related to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Give me, because you're using magic to enhance it overall as a performance. Give me a performance check with advantage. Then, would you be so kind?
No, I rolled so badly. Oh, I'm too laggy. Oh my god! This has actually broken my Discord, my game. Oh, I can't see what's going on.
13.
It's a 13.
I rolled so badly that's not actually upsetting.
Well, you actually, and I'll let you take advantage of it, even though the bonus is the same. It looks like you accidentally rolled a persuasion check.
Oh, yeah,
not
you
a
did.
performance.
So
I will be kind and say that was a performance, even though the bonus.
there we
is the
go, nat
same.
20. Have fun.
There we
Woohoo!
are.
That's a try.
That's what we wanted.
Oh my god, this is actually breaking my internet rolling in advantage. I don't know why my internet has 2 dice at once.
D&D Beyond.
Oh no,
two-
no, everything's crashed. Oh no, Discord's crashed. I've got a white screen.
Oh no.
Oh
we
gosh,
can hear you.
I've got
We
internet.
can hear you though.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're
Oh,
fine.
We
and,
hear you.
and,
Can you
and
hear
then to
us?
finish the to finish the performance, I will face step onto, I don't know, like a high platform or something, like somewhere high up in front of everyone.
Yeah.
In a
Onto the
puff of-
top of the maypole that's kind of off in the distance that you can easily balance on.
Mhm.
Not
Fang
far
is
in the distance.
hard
like,
sobbing and applauding.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he'll make sure like the music follows him, so people know where he's gone because he wants to.
Yep, and so everyone sees the sort of prestige flourish at the end, and with a nat 20, and a maximum of a 27, which is wildly amazing. You are correct. No one in the audience knows Sylvan from Southgate. You'd have to run into some pretty well fucking read.
I know
elves.
Sylvan.
And yeah, you might.
I know.
Nhudrel,
I do know
pardon-
Sylvan.
And so.
Oh no! Do I need to translate what I talk about? Fuck! Oh god.
You don't have to do it for now because, of course, we're streaming, and I don't want to put you on that much of a creative spot unless you want to.
I'll have a think
You
about who
can
he's
do it
talking about
off
then.
and
I'll
decide
send you a
kind
DM
of-
when I figure it out.
Awesome.
Exactly. But the audience just like gets out of their chairs. There's applauding. There's. It has become clear that everyone else here is not professionals in this space. That some of them might have talent, but they are not nearly able to put on the showmanship, the emotional delivery, or the accuracy of actually performing the notes that one wants to hit. And even though no
Become
one
a celebrity
understood
named Marvelous Thick Branch.
Marvelous Thick Branch, and they're like, marvelous Thick Branch
Yeah, there we go.
performance. What a wondrous thing. There's like applause for like a couple minutes. Like it takes a while to die down. The announcer, like the coordinator, like wipes a tear from their eye and then looks over to the list and they're like, all right, next on the list is Hick.
Nhudrel.
Is there
Oh.
a
No, Nhudrel,
Hick?
because I'm still thinking what Hicks would do.
Okay. Next on the
If
list
he will
is
even go up, I don't know.
Nudie? Is there a nudie in this? Trying to
Nhudrel is
read.
gonna stare at Fang and be
Nudie?
like,
Noodei? Is that an L? I don't know. Nudie.
Nhudrel's just gonna like sort of gallop up to the stage and like slam his hand over the man's mouth. Be like, Nhudrel. Nhudrel.
I'm sorry. Nhudrel.
I meant neutral.
Oh, okay. My fault. Nhudrel. Please.
Oh, wait, no,
You're on stage. What would you like to perform?
Nhudrel's just gonna realize, oh shit, I'm on the stage now.
Yuri's gonna Yuri from the pole is gonna start like waving at him, trying to be like thumbs up, like you can do it. Like he's giving you bardic.
Get a
He's giving
bardic.
you your bardic.
What do you think Nhudrel will do to impress an audience?
Nhudrel, I actually
No pressure. Nat 20 on the last one.
Thank you for the sub. I know, like I'm coming up after that. So I actually wrote a poem because I had a feeling Fang was gonna drag me up there.
Ooh,
So I wrote a
fancy.
poem, and he's gonna very awkwardly
Before
stand
you read the poem,
yes,
you actually wrote it and created it yourself. Before you read it,
yes.
because you wrote it, I'm gonna give you advantage. I want you to do the roll first
Oh, great.
so that I can appropriately respond and not make it like I, as a human being, Steve, am dunking on your own creative efforts. And you have advantage,
Seems not bad.
so you can roll twice. And
Okay,
then
let's
you
look
can
at that.
also add a d6 because you have Bardic.
Oh, do I add a d6? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, wait. Do I have Bardic? Did I get Bardic?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yuri
Yuri
just
gave you a
just gave
thumbs
you
up.
one.
Oh,
Yuri
nice.
was
Yes,
trying to
yes.
like encourage you from his palm.
Okay, so that with advantage would be a 21.
Okay, good. Okay.
No,
Read
no,
your
you have to
poem.
roll. Oh, you did roll. Never mind. It was just.
Yeah. Read your poem then. If it had gone really badly, I needed some time to prepare. How do I do this? That doesn't seem like it's me being mean to
A bird
you.
shits at you while you tell it.
Your poetry is trash.
Poetry is trash. I mean, I literally wrote it in 2 minutes, so like, yeah, I'm not surprised if that was the actual. Anyway,
But-
so he sort of like stands awkwardly in front of everybody and tries to ignore the fact that he might or may not have stage fright now. The day marches on. It moves mercilessly. It cares not that you are no longer here, and I've no way to spill this rage. The pages to your story have stopped flipping, and the unfeeling world keeps rolling. The clock keeps ticking, and life rises with every crisp dawn. But not for me. And he's gonna look around and run off stage. He's like, nope.
I guess sobbing and hard clapping.
So some people applaud. Give me a perception check. I guess no one in this group would care about this that much, and Nhudrel would probably be a little too. Give me a perception with disadvantage. I just want to see if you see what this does to the audience.
Who, me?
Nhudrel, yeah.
Okay, with disadvantage. Ha!
It's 12. That's
That's a
all right.
4.
You don't notice. None of the characters notice. For us as the players, there is a certain subset of people, age-appropriate people, that are in very stylishly dark and grim-looking makeup, and there's a little bit of swooning in that category of people.
The emos.
Oh,
The
no.
emos are affected. The emos are affected as this beautiful blue, long, gorgeous-haired, in their feelings person that's also shy, just delivered a very, very solid poem reading, and more people take note of your immediate presence between, because we've had perhaps the most beautiful song anyone here has ever heard, followed by an emotionally tortured poem, a poem from a gorgeous blue man. And now, following that, Hick? Is it Hick? H-I-K. Hick?
Hey, goddamn.
That's totally how Hicks responds.
I'm trying to think what he would really
No,
do.
fucking. Please stop calling him Daddy Noodles.
Daddy Noodles.
Please.
Is your stream?
Yes.
Stream getting low out of hand?
One specific
wanna-
person is getting out of hand.
I want to find the emo kids and turn all their outfits pink. That's going to be
Oh,
my goal for later on.
dear.
I'm
Oh.
going to make them all.
Oh, no.
They're all going to end their phase today. Mark my word.
Oh, no.
We're like, I don't know, because I don't know. I'm still debating if Hex would either like he would, because he has the flute. Remember, he has a
Mhm.
he has a flute. So if he'd play. I think maybe I don't know, because I don't know what I'm gonna have to roll, because it's not gonna be like a performance because what he would maybe do is like play the flute as he's walking up.
That's
Well,
a
no,
performance phase.
he'd like no, because it's not the full thing. He's just gonna like play it for like a very short time,
Mhm.
and then he would like teleport up onto stage and then do more of like a martial like
A martial
Ooh.
performance. Yeah,
Performance.
kind of like a yeah, absolutely. If you play the
so
flute,
like the flute is like the look at
announcement
me.
music,
It's not the it's not the performance.
this is not
I don't
what
know how
this
to
is.
explain it.
This is not what this is. But in my mind, when you were like, this is not what you were describing at all, but my dumb brain just went to, it's like this John Cena intro music on a wrestling thing where it's like, dun, 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 and then you just teleport up
Oh my
onto the
God.
stage in a very visible. I'm not
This is
demanding that it be
amazing.
that. I'm not even recommending that it
This is
necessarily be that.
amazing.
It's just what came into my head immediately. And it's like, Hick to the stage! And you're just like, but nonetheless, okay. So if it's a martial performance, instead of using your typical
But then I'm
performance,
also deciding maybe he should just say something because he's got really good persuasion and charisma. I'm like,
I mean, you can verbalize it. You can also roll about it first and let that roll inform exactly what you do. So like you kind of have the category roughly, and then I do that a lot of times when I'm like, well, if I roll bad, then I can just be bad at it, and the pressure's off. And if I roll really good, I can always be like, oh, okay, I say this and it just works, kind of thing. And so it's up to you, Yama, on what. But
I don't know.
I would recommend either a speaking thing or a quarterstaff related or double-bladed scimitar related martial performance, and you can
Could
feel
do something
free
more
to roll
martially though, because like he's good at that. But like
with your martial, if you want to, you can either roll just your attack roll, or you could roll like intimidation to impress, arguably, because that's kind of what martial performance is. Is it's sort of like that is
maybe,
so
yeah.
fucking threatening and impressively powerful that I'm a little scared of this person and enticed by them.
I'm scaroused.
I'm scary and horny. I'm scared and horny.
Scared and horny.
Then okay, maybe then what he would do is he's not gonna play the flute. He'll save that for a later time. He'd like when his name gets called, he's gonna kind of like, I don't know, first look at Yuri as if like, was it you?
I'm just sounding
and
I meant Hicks.
and when Fang does that, he's like, it was the tall one. Okay. And he would just
the double standards to that, like, oh, it wasn't the annoying one. Okay.
Oh god, that was surprising. And then he'd start walking to the stage, and because obviously he's still wearing this like white hood, he's probably a little bit like, everyone's probably like, whoa, what's this weird white robed figure? And then from there he'd like just teleport onto stage, just like, and then just be on stage, and then he'll keep his hood up and keep the robe on and everything like that, and then just do like a martial performance thingy with the blades. I don't know.
With the blades, and so I will say that Hicks is aware enough. If you want to use a little bit of your magic to give you advantage on this, you don't have to use it like at anyone, right? But like if you want to use if you want to fire an Eldritch Blast.
He's gonna do that at the end and just set it up from behind his back.
Yeah. Okay. So roll. I would say roll intimidation with advantage. If you want to, yeah. Doesn't seem like they get to see a lot of like really flashy magic here.
Look at that shit roll. That's
not looking. Okay, intimidation. 9, 16. Oh, all right. So 15. What's
only 15?
It's not
only
bad.
15. It's not bad. It's not quite the.
But like, I also
thing.
wouldn't say he's gonna try he's not gonna like try and scare people, because he wants people to
this is
acknowledge so that he can go talk to people. He's not trying to scare them away.
Well, here's the deal. With a 15, I would say that the audience claps appropriately. I'd say Hicks, you notice that the only people that seem like it's not that they're clapping politely, like it's impressive enough, but the people that are actually like, there's a couple like standing people that look like maybe they're city guards or maybe even one of the actual soldiers. They actually look impressed. The 15 works on them specifically. So it's not like you get that loud audience reaction. You're not going to win a prize for this or anything like that as the greatest performer. But the people that know what you physically did, those are the people that are like, oh, and so you do succeed in the way that the DC check for being noticed at this was DC 12. It wasn't a very very high. It's just everyone, or it's just Yuri and Nhudrel rolled noticeably higher.
Oh, trust me, he doesn't
but-
want a prize. He wants people.
Yeah, you want
attention.
the recognition. The people that are important for you, and maybe that was Hicks's play, was just like, it's not going to matter if the audience likes this. People that know better.
Oh yeah, no, he's
know
not
that
there
this
for
is
the people.
impressive.
He's there for the
Yeah,
for particular people.
they know that wasn't an illusion. I shot a ray of potentially dangerous energy out of me, and everything, just to like let them know. And so they clock it. They're not threatened by it. I know I had you roll intimidation. They're not threatened. They're impressed by it. They're like, no, I see what you got working with. The audience claps, and then a cavalcade of much less impressive performers do something. Somebody has like a pet challenge thing where they make their little dog jump through hoops, like a little pet circus. Another person does like a cup stacking challenge, where they just are able to de-stack cups very fast. It's like a 12-year-old that does it. And then there's other people that, like, someone kind of biffs on a sword swallow and accidentally like cuts up the inside of their throat a little bit and pops it up and it just goes badly. They aren't permanently injured, but it doesn't look good. And all kinds of performances happen. This isn't handed to you immediately, but I am going to have you roll, since you did roll the highest, Yuri. Give me another D100 and see if another and divide it by 2 for being the most impressive with your nat 20 plus 7, which is 27, which no other normal person in Southgate could ever possibly have reached.
That's a 15.
15 after divide or before?
After.
After.
I would like to note that Fang also was hard applauding.
Oh.
Amazing.
Yeah. We got most of that. We got good portions of that.
We got it.
We
Yeah.
understood.
This is something for you to note. A waste of time is the name of the item, and it's a belt with an ancient clock as a buckle, and it gives the user the ability to always know what time it is. You always know what time it is. A wild item for someone from the Fey realm to have. Hey, you know that thing that's not consistent where you live or in comparison to the material plane? Well, now you know what time it
Is that gonna make
Yuri-
the clock go like wee woo wee woo wee woo when he gets back
Well,
to the
is. Yeah.
Oh.
To be fair, Yurivel would probably just stare at it and look. Like, he doesn't try to hide it on his face. He looks so disappointed. It is a kid who's got something shit for Christmas.
Okay, I just want to say, if anyone ever wants to seduce Nhudrel, that belt would be the way to go. I'm just
Belt is
saying.
all-
Yurivel was literally just about to give it to you. You were just getting all of Yurivel's unwanted shit. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah,
So you get
Yurivel would
another
kind of sulk over it and just
Meaningful gift to you.
shove it at Nhudrel's waist.
At
And
his
looks very
waist.
disappointed with the amount of work you put into that performance.
Yuri,
Oh.
if you shove it at him, he is going to take it, and then there's a split second where he's like, I, and then he's just gonna hug you, really hard.
Oh, okay, hello. What did I do?
Apologies.
He was turning away, walking off, and then just got grabbed and like, ah.
And if he's hugging him, his feet has just been lifted off the ground.
You?
You'd probably notice actually for the first time listening, Yuri is unnaturally light. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
is
good
not
lord.
as like this.
Yuri
He is
is
probably-
the weight of a 5'5" humanoid.
He is.
Good
Yeah.
lord.
He is like lifting a probably like something strange going on there. That is not a normal weight for him.
Okay.
He is just like almost like a feather, pretty much. Not literally, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Apologies. I was just a little overcome with emotion. This is
What?
lovely. Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's an ugly belt.
It is wonderful.
What is it? Why? Why is it wonderful?
It tells me the time at all times.
What's so important about the time?
I will never be late.
I mean, but
Yuri's like audible confusion is the best thing to me.
this is a bad time to tell you this,
Hmm.
but like some houses, you know, you go to some people's houses and time just goes a bit faster. Like, how does that work? You can't. It only tells time in one location.
I have no idea what you mean, but for me,
Well.
this is wonderful.
Oh, well, you're
Yes.
welcome. I mean, you know, it doesn't make me happy, so it's gonna make you happy. And he sounds like he genuinely does like mean that. Like, that's not me him being bitchy. That's him like, yeah, no, I'm glad. I don't give a shit. Nice you do.
It's the British accent that makes everything sound sarcastic.
Just make me happy. But it makes you happy.
Happy,
That's
I
good.
guess, yeah.
So, are you late for things a lot?
I definitely. It means a lot to me to be on time.
Flashback of Yuri, morning after morning, running down halls, toast in mouth, always being
my
gently
God.
late for every. You get
Yuri-
there just on time, but barely.
Is
Or
Yuri
not
the
Yuri,
anime
the
protagonist?
No, I
Yeah,
think you mean
Nhudrel.
Nhudrel.
Oh,
I
Nhudrel.
think
Yeah.
he needs Nhudrel.
Flashback of Nhudrel
I don't.
constantly being like, way back when you were younger, getting to classes on time, and then even then, it's not that you were late. You would get there on time, but you would always be in rush. Like you'd always not give yourself enough time to casually get to a place, and maybe this will help solve that problem.
Yeah, he's.
Maybe you will have a piece of toast sitting at a table.
Dear Lord. I'm always running around with a toast in my mouth. Nhudrel's just going to sort of pat Yuri's shoulder and be like, I wish to respect other people's time, and this will help me.
I've never focused on time ever. So this is strange to me. But I'm glad you like it. What the, you're almost like I've given a great gift and I don't understand how I've done it, and that's hurting his brain more than anything, because usually he would have put like a lot of thought into a gift and he's like, I didn't know what I'm doing.
I was just getting rid of my unwanted stuff.
And also there's the fluffy things. He's talking about the socks.
Oh, yes, I don't really. I suppose they'll keep my feet warm in winter.
Roll a while you're in this grateful moment, Nhudrel, roll an insight check on the socks.
I've cast your feet.
That's a 5. I'm really overwhelmed with emotion right now to focus on socks.
Yeah. They're definitely magical socks that can locate other magical socks.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Nothing strange or weird about them at all. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna do a thing.
Like it's like just some. He's like, you're all so talented.
You want to, Fang?
Talented. Strength. She flexes.
As you do that, I'm gonna minor illusion little sparkles coming off your off your biceps.
Mike's pumped. Get them pumped and shiny.
It's like as you do the flanks, it does the like sheen thing than it does in cartoons.
Sing. Little audible noise.
Oh, I've not done that before. Is that from winning?
Yes.
That's what it feels like to be a winner.
Yes.
Yes. So after gifts are exchanged, prizes exchanged, and you've all made a little bit of note of yourself in the early afternoon, so too is the time that the auction is announced. You can hear people shouting that the auction is going to get started in several minutes from now. So you've got a little bit of time before the auction gets, but people have begun to gather around. I believe this was Hicks very interested in seeing who would be at this auction, almost more so than what would be auctioned off individually. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, he'd be interested in what's being sold off, just out
Certainly.
of curiosity, you know. But he's more so like, oh, who is coming to this auction.
All right. You give me a observation skill check of your choice, whether you want to,
Jesus.
because you've got plenty of time to look at things. So it can be perception, it can be investigate. You could do Arcana to see if there's people that are you could do maybe a charisma check, just a flat charisma check to see who seems important in high society. You whatever you appropriately can essentially sell reasonably in this, because this isn't
Could
like
I-
Yep.
Could I also
on.
do a perception, just looking kind of like, just if anything catches my eye that looks like anything that would come from home or my
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of magic
yeah.
people. 'Cause-
Yep.
Okay, I got an 18.
I
Okay.
don't know. Must I do a charisma check or a perception check?
For you, you could either justify it as a perception check if you're just analyzing, but you could arguably do a charisma check because you're judging a society type thing. This is something that's a little bit easier in Pathfinder because they have like a stat for this,
Yeah.
where because you're not like, you've got a lot of time to like suss people up, and you
Fang?
know how to like read humans. Or different rooms, and
His
so
charisma check's only 15. But I think he would maybe then, like, he'd obviously check to see if he can see, like, of people of high standing.
yeah.
But then I suppose I can also roll perception just to see if there's, like,
Yeah.
are they congregating around a certain item sort of thing. But, I
Yeah,
mean-
does the crowd seem interested in
But
a
I mean,
certain
I
thing?
don't have a very high perception. I just
Yeah.
I like 10s a lot.
You love a good 10. So I'll address Hix's thing. Fang, you also rolled a perception check, yes?
Yeah.
What were you trying to perceive? What was Fang trying to perceive?
Just to see if anything was interesting.
She's looking for sparkly cool shit. That's what she's doing.
The items in general look like they're of varying either uniqueness but without any kind of like magical oomph, or a little bit of magical uniqueness, like there's something that probably there's a fair amount of like what I will refer to as like cantrip level magic, right? At this like non-aggressive cantrip level magic. So like little things that could be useful and little magical doodads, and especially with some of the prizes that you all have run, you see that there's like magical items, and they can have some like kind of esoteric or like interesting, clever uses to them, but they're not like inherently meaningful. Fang, with a 22. With a 22, you see, what would Fang be interested in from this hall? Let me look. Nhudrel, you see this. Actually, I'm going to narrate what Yuri catches with their 18. Yuri, you see a mask. It is a mask of disguise. It is absolutely a thing that you know has to have somehow been related to where you're from. Just the nature of the illusionary magic. It's not like you identify it in the way that you would identify it if you were at home. You would be like, I know what that is. I've seen that before, and I've felt that before. Like, I know what that energy is. Essentially a mask that any rarer can put on, regardless if they have any magical capabilities, and they can fully disguise themselves visually within the range of the thing that they are sized up. So instead of if an example,
it's a
a small
disguise
size,
self spell.
yeah, it's just a disguise self spell.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't have limitations. You can turn it on and off. It can be running all day. It doesn't have a recharge or anything like that. It's wildly powerful. But for only the disguise self and only for that wearer, and everything. And it's the kind of thing that is almost I'd argue probably a pretty flippant thing where you're from.
Yeah.
But here it's surprising, because even with the limited amount, you're like, well, this is better than a shitty belt. This is better than those whatever the thing I gave Nhudrel. This is even better than the knife that Hicks got, even though that's pretty a pretty clever trick. This has got some heat to it. So that would be what you would notice from your realm. Fang, what you notice is a small it's a small little tincture, and this is going to be a bit off of like sort of the like silliness of this, but it kind of relates to Fang, since Fang happened to. It's a small little tincture. It's filled with a red sort of viscous fluid. And it's not that you notice it visually, because it just looks like a little vial with some red fluid in it. But you catch, even though it's capped, you catch a bit of the smell of it. And it smells like blood, but it most specifically smells like blood from the people that raised you, Fang.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
This little Fang backstory here moment.
Oh dear.
Get over
She's-
20, you get something real.
She's alarmed. The slits in her eyes spin, and she kind of freezes in place. She could like hear the heartbeat in her head now.
Mhm.
And then she like looks up and looks around and is like, whose is this? Who's
One of the
this?
One of the heralds like is more than happy to help you, and it's like, oh yes, that was donated by, looks here, and they're like flipping through the registry of looks like it was donated here by the Katangan family of their personal stock.
Hello, puppy.
Sorry, just Yama's. Hello, puppy.
So
In the
he just
middle.
came and he like put his head under my armchair, under the
Oh,
top of my chair,
Taco.
and put him on my lap.
Oh, baby.
Hello, little
It's the
nugget.
Katangan family. They donated a number of things that were things that they've gotten well ranging about the world in their various adventures.
Kentengan family is here now.
Yes, of course. Well, I mean, they're not here at the auction, but they're the reputable members of Southgate. They've, as far as I know, they own property somewhere. Grabs one of the local city guard. Where the Katangans? They're local, right? And one of the city guards is like, "Oh yeah, the Katangan family. They're definitely. They've been here for a long time, generations even. Dated back to probably before the drains. Honestly,
This is happening nearby. Can we see that
you're all,
Fang
you're all
is...
available.
Okay.
You're all round.
Just going to scooch on over. Fang, is everything all right?
She's really stiff. Her eyes slowly shift to Nhudrel before back to the garden. The other guy is like, thank you. And then she turns her back to the table, just to the table, while still staying next to Nhudrel. And like she started to breathe kind of heavy. It's like, my family's blood. In
Nhudrel's
bottle
just stood there
on
awkwardly.
the table.
Oh.
Is that normal to happen here?
You say your family's blood is on this?
It's in the vial on table.
Have you lost
She's
your
having a
family?
hard time. No, I traveled away from home. My family is fine. My family is fine. And she's getting
Aw.
more upset, and she's like now shaking and tearing up as she's
Oh.
panicking internally.
I'm just going to try hold her. Fang. Breathe, dear.
Muffled,
Just
the
trying to
sword
say-
on the side of Fang's hip. No, the sword. The big one's getting nervous, getting angsty. Just warning you. Sort of warning.
Can I punch him in the face? Like, excuse me.
It's a wooden sword.
Wooden sword's talking. Wait, so where did they say that the people were? These people?
The Tengen
Tangans,
family?
yeah.
The Katagan family
Katangan.
has
K-
property
Kang.
on
Here in
Katangan
Southgate.
has
No, but I mean
Yeah,
they
it's
are not
property in
here,
Southgate.
right?
Not physically right
they-
now, no.
They didn't say, but like they didn't see any of the Contangans that they noticed. But yeah, they live in Southgate.
Real quick, lore question for Fang. Has Fang told Nhudrel about Fang's past?
Yeah.
So he would know that the blood is not shifter blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
um,
not shifter blood.
Hey, Game Mummy, do I know if there's a use for that blood?
Would you think that Nhudrel would have looked into the community that raised Fang after discovering how Fang was raised?
Oh yeah, 100%. If I'm going to
degree?
teach her, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the blood of the community that raised Fang, Nhudrel would know this. The community that raised Fang, the blood acts as a sort of natural. It's essentially to people that aren't from with certain constitutions. It's essentially like cocaine. It amps you up. It alleviates a ton of endorphins and adrenaline. It
Damn.
makes you stronger and more powerful in the moment, and it definitely gives you a euphoric high. And I would think that perhaps Nhudrel at this point would know that it's not a widely done thing, but that the people that raised Fang have had a deeper history in much worse times of having to manage the problem that they have that kind of reaction if people find out. Like it's not like it's like some it's sort of like poaching, but it's not like poaching is today. It would be like if poaching was a solved thing that mostly had been developed, but of course occasionally there are still people that do it. Yeah.
This can't be legal here, can it?
And you don't know. You've only been here for 30 days. You probably haven't studied all the laws.
God fucking damn it. I need more time and more books.
You're just looking between the two, like, so.
What's going on?
So what's going on?
No, Hicks is quiet. I know something's up, but he's not intervening too much.
Meanwhile, Yuri's there like, huh?
I know this isn't
Fang
what Yuri's
kind of
saying. But
collects
Yuri's
herself.
like, what's wrong? What's wrong with the blood in a vial? Why are you mad that there's blood in a vial? There's just some blood in a vial. It's just blood in a vial. Get over.
Now we all look at the blood in the vial.
Oh.
No, Yuri's gonna look at the blood and go, did you know? Whoever's blood is in there, they could be scryed with that blood. And trapped. It's quite normal. I know a few people who just, they'll just prick people who are friends and stuff, so they will never lose touch.
You will tell us
Sorry.
before you prick us, though, right?
Oh, it doesn't need to be blood. It can be hair. It can be precious things.
That was not the point. Wait, I.
It's really
Fine.
easy to just track someone with magic.
What would you like to do, Fang?
She like calms a little too alarmingly.
Oh.
And then she has now a silent anger about her.
Whoop.
It's like, I want the vial.
Okay.
Should I go
Roll
take it?
stealth check, everyone, and sleight of hand. Let's go.
She's not stealthy at all.
No, genuinely though, when Fang says she wants
Oh,
file,
she's a
Yuri
little
just starts
stealth.
walking towards it.
Oh my god.
Hicks is just gonna grab Yuri. I don't know.
Ah!
He doesn't have a collar, really, but he's gonna kind of
My
grab
leaf.
him by his leaves.
My
My leaf.
My leaf.
Leave me alone.
How fucking dare
But
you?
you know, he'd grab the back of his collar, and knowing probably what Yuri was about to do, because Yuri is, you know, just a little shit,
Mhm.
and then just kind of like pull him back
Yuri's
a
not
bit.
Yuri's not a shit. He just doesn't know what he's doing. Has consequences.
He just knows how to avoid
Yeah.
consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to get that file, you need to make sure no one's watching when you take it.
Like, I can take it.
If no one sees you do it.
Well, I was gonna go make a noise and distraction. And also, I could just make an illusionary fake file. Or, does anyone have blood on them? We could just swap them.
Casually, don't let me just like give you some blood quick.
You have a knife. It would be quite easy to extract blood. To be fair.
Dear God.
Just don't
I'm like,
just don't use mine. That also might be drug blood.
Is this an
I
actual?
haven't decided. We haven't discussed this. I'm like 98% confident that if Yuri's blood is probably also drug blood.
Oh my God.
Probably. also
Mine
drug blood.
might cause an aneurysm though.
Yeah. At least
I don't
a
think
really
I'm safe to
memorable
assume.
time.
What color? What color is Yuri's blood? You did this to me. I'm doing
Rainbow.
it right back.
It's
Oh.
prismatic. It's prismatic.
Prismatic blood is so
Oh.
good.
So
That
it's
is
like a white
amazing.
sheen. It's whitish with like a prismatic hue.
When Yuri asks
So you
for
don't use
blood,
mine.
Fang's like, you can use mine.
No. No. You don't want to use anyone's blood that can be tracked.
If
Need
you
someone
want
else's
to
blood.
replace this blood vial, if you go find I think you call it a butcher shop, go fill up a vial there, bring it back. They'll be none the wiser.
See, that's smarter than stabbing people, yeah.
See,
There
Hicks is
are
the logical
absolutely
one
butcher
here,
shops
okay?
in Southgate. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
He's the logical one.
you can't say you're the logical one with minus intelligence.
Excuse me, I just came up with a better plan than one of us cutting ourselves and being
Well-
like, "Ooh, track me."
She doesn't know. She's like, exchange my blood for my family.
I wanted to save Hicks and be like, but the wisdom is high, but the wisdom is not high.
No, the wisdom.
Oh.
The wisdom is average.
And the wisdom is average. And maybe that's...
I'm actually more wise than Hicks.
To be fair, though, Hicks is literally a soldier, and he's like
Yeah.
an agent. He would know how to do this shit.
And, like, pragmatically, there's blood at butcher shops. Like, that just makes sense. It's
Listen,
almost
he's
the
been
wisdom
doing this
of
for like God knows how long. He knows what he's
It's
doing.
almost the wisdom of the simplest answer. It's like, why are we overcomplicating things?
Yep.
Exactly.
The simple answer. Go get
To
blood
be
from the
fair, I
place.
don't think Yuri goes to butchers very much.
Yuri's never does not know what a butcher shop is, and I'm worried about Yuri's reaction when they do know what a butcher
I mean,
shop is.
he still eats meat. He's not a
He eats
vegetarian,
meat,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I feel
But,
like
like-
if you're like, oh, that's a bit
okay.
morbid.
Yeah, I suppose we're not like Foster Farms, like
Well,
factory chicken shops.
No, I imagine
Um,
it's very much you hunt and kill something and then you use everything and then
Yeah, it is very much that. That is very much
Yeah.
the vibe of this.
or you just
It-
summon it. To be fair, You just.
I mean, the reason
wave
Hicks
your
is
hand
saying that
and-
they go and replace it with an actual thing is because illusionary magic only lasts. If he's gonna
Yeah,
like
exactly.
minor illusion something,
Mm.
it's only gonna last a bit,
I mean,
and then it's gonna be
you're-
tracked back to Fang, which is why Hicks is being logical and saying, "Let's go get an actual physical replacement."
I mean, Yuri
not
suggested
against it.
blood for it as well. He just someone's
Mm,
blood,
Just
not
Such a
Butcher
very
shop, but
good
nonetheless.
idea.
So the idea is the butcher shop. Is that an idea that appeals to Fang?
Yes.
Sparkle blood.
Yes. Because she doesn't know any better,
it
honestly.
It takes you 0% effort to find a butcher shop. It's easy. There's a couple in Southgate, because there's enough population to support them and everything. It also takes you 0% effort to obtain just some blood. Not because we don't live in the modern age, so plenty of people cook with blood in lots of things all the time.
Mhm.
And everything. So getting blood is as easy as being like, I would like blood, please.
I got very confused then, but I remember I live in a country where we have bloody pudding and stuff, so my brain was like, what the hell are you on about? That's still a normal thing to buy.
there's obviously a handful of modern
Honestly,
dishes that
same.
still utilize blood. But
It was like, excuse me, Steve, we use that. Hello.
yeah, there's a handful of countries that still use blood. It's not my personal flavor palette, but no judgment. But it's a very common structure. So nonetheless, you get some blood. I'm not even gonna make you roll. You find there's gonna be like perfumers, apothecaries, things like that have little vials that you can come that are relatively similar in size to do that. You're in a sizable enough city where all this stuff is immediately available, and anyone who's ever been in a town before would easily be able to navigate themselves to obtain these things for coppers, like literally no money for what you're asking to do here. And so you're looking to swap out the pedestrian vial of we'll say of lamb blood with the more specifically meaningful vial.
Just to ask before we try and swap anything, who is the most stealthy here?
That's what I was about to ask. What
I think
makes the most
probably
sense
Hicks.
for this?
Not,
Unless Yuri has a higher dex than him.
No,
Not-
I think you have higher than me.
not Nhudrel. That's all I can say.
Nhudrel is not. Nope. It's
Yuri would go. Do you guys want me to, make a distraction? I have a good one.
Yes, I think that might help if you were really
How
want to
long
take
can
this
you
far.
all hold your breath?
Might I suggest we do this at the end of the auction, and not at the
Oh.
beginning?
Yeah, but what if someone buys it?
We can just take it from them.
Oh, but I had a good idea. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh my
I
god.
think
Yuri's
Yama's
just
so
gonna walk
curious with
ahead.
this idea.
But I want to look if there's more stuff first. You
This-
crazy little
They
shit.
can come back. It's fine. And then Yuri's just gonna be like, hold your nose. And then Yuri is gonna, because Jodecroft literally says this in the description, this is gonna be at full potency. I'm just gonna start spreading the smell of a skunk all across the auction house as I stink bomb the place.
Oh,
with Jodecroft.
no.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
god.
Oh,
So he's
God.
just casually like walking
Why?
around, and then the smell of skunk is gonna start wafting
Oh god.
at full
why-
potency.
Why are you like this?
It's a good way to get people to leave.
I guess
So
all I can press like very
Oh,
effective.
and also I would like to do a deception or something to act like I'm reacting to the smell as well when it's happening.
Oh my god.
give me a deception deception for Yuri. Yuri's the only one who has to make that deception.
Back! I got a 2. That's a 9.
It's not the most convincing, but it's a skunk smell. Not a lot of people.
I'm
are
turning
just-
up too much. I'm a little bit. He's on a performance high.
He's on a performance high from the last thing. I'm going to roll a die to see if anyone can even. A skunk smell is such a nice, automatic kind of successful thing because, like, it's not toxic. No one has to survive it. No one likes it. Like, it's unreasonable that anyone would be like, I like a good skunk smell in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
Oh
no,
no!
I
If they
don't.
are, we have to kill them because that is a monster.
And so, yeah, you all well Hicks and Yuri are sort of like speaking in hushed about the plan, and then Yuri decides to just go do the plan. It seems the plan is in play, and you know that it's in play because you can smell the scent of skunk as you plug your nose before it becomes immediate. You don't have a lot of time though, and you are all holding your breath. You can all hold your breath for plenty of time to do this little job, because you know that if you breathe in through your mouth, you're going to taste the skunk smell. And so it's something that everyone from every realm is familiar with. So who wants to do the vial swap? I'm going to assume it's Hicks, since Fang also
We can
does that.
fucking try.
You get to roll with advantage, and you can either roll it as I guess it doesn't matter. Roll sleight of hand technically for this, but stealth it's the same bonus for you either way.
Yeah,
so
it's the same.
but roll with advantage because the distraction is happening.
I would like to give them bardic before they roll, just in
And
case.
bardic as well.
And my bardic to you is the biggest shit-eating grin you've ever seen.
Oh dear
Yeah.
God.
Yuri is just so proud of himself. He's like,
In my mind, Yuri's like, it's not negatively impacting them, but Yuri's eyes are like watering as
Oh my god,
from
can I
the-
don't need that's fine. But I can add it to be like extra spicy.
Oh,
I mean, you can't. You
get
know
the
what?
mask while you're at it.
I will say,
Yuri wants
if
the
you
mask.
roll
Where's the mask?
if you roll a 3 or higher, so you have a 2/3 chance.
Oh.
You're already so the vial, yes, you got a 22. That's actually really much higher than it needed to be with the skunk distraction. Much higher than it needed to be. So I think you could even get the mask. You wouldn't have anything to replace it with, but you could get it. But 3 or
3.
higher, and something real cool is going to come.
I got 3.
Beautiful. That's a 25.
Also, if he does take the mask, I will just minor illusion a mask in its place because I can do minor
yeah, that's, I
object.
think that's fine. Hicks,
Wait,
you
wait,
grab
wait.
the
Why
vial.
would Hicks take this mask? I mean, he's not interested in it.
I mean, you can just simply say you should take the mask too.
Yuri would probably do this thing while he's watching you. He'd just look at the mask and do that very thing of like, I wonder how they got a Fey artifact here while looking at the mask.
Well, I suppose would Hicks know that this is like a Fey thingy?
I don't know if you know
Well,
off the top of your head.
Yuri
that it's
just said it.
But yeah, Yuri just verbalized that it's
Uh.
so that would be enough of a
But,
reason
okay,
to
yeah,
be
then
like,
Hicks would kind of maybe then look at this mask, kind of like, why? First of all, there's a dodgy vial of blood here. Now there's a Fey mask. Bro, what is going on at this dodgy ass
All
auction?
right.
So then, yeah,
I
then
want
he would.
you, Hicks. You get the mask. You get the vial. They swap the vial, so the vial is it looks like nothing's to serve it. Minor illusion for the mask from Yuri. Hicks, I would like you to roll me another D100, please, and divide it by 2.
Oh, Lordy.
I love little.
That's a
little
25, so.
25
divide it.
divided by so 12 or 13. Okay.
Yeah. Didn't we get a 12 or 13 earlier?
Yeah.
No, you did not. You got something close to it. Because the waste of time was a 15. Let's go with.
You're just stealing something else on the way. Just, yeah,
Apparently.
might as well. You're a little klepto. That's what Hicks' secret is.
Well, there's.
Hicks got kicked out the Shadowfell because he's a little.
I'm doing a little
He
bit.
he stole the Raven Queen's hat. Not even the crown. It was just like a party hat.
Just a party hat.
He stole her feather boa, and now she's really angry at him, so he's hiding in the material plane.
One time we're just going to be camping and they're going to think we're all asleep, and then Hicks is strutting around on watch in like this black feather boa, and he's like, "Din it, din it, din it, din it."
No, it's to the Pink Panther song.
Oh god, yeah. And then he just looks around, and all 3 of us are staring at him. And then that's when Hicks uses the knife on us. Like, you tell anyone, I will.
You're so
I will,
give you
I will
Done
never stop.
nothing.
I will tie you to a post and stab you.
To be fair, I think with Fang, all Hicks needs to do is don't tell anyone, and Fang's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Hicks, this is what I'm going to give you, and I'm nudging it a little bit in a direction, but I think that it's an excellent item that, much like the knife, can be cleverly used, even though it's on
Are
its
you
surface.
just
not
trying to make Hicks absolutely terrifying assassin of some
No,
sort?
this isn't as direct as that.
Okay.
So, Rod of Shifting. When you activate it, it shifts everything 2 inches to the right. Not everything in the room, not everything within a radius. Everything. You can
Jesus,
activate it once a day. And so basically this moves reality 2 inches to the right. Not
Oh my
Then
God.
what
necessarily.
happens to the space on the left?
We'll find out when you use
Yeah,
the rod.
who made this? I feel like this is made by some kind of god to bend reality like that.
Is the like left hand side then just like kind of like an
Yeah.
ethereal
Oh
plane?
no, that's when the void comes for us. Like
Well,
that's when
maybe
like
that's how they
Cthulhu
opened the
comes out
void.
of the
That's how they
darkness.
opened the rift. It's someone playing with this rod.
Oh,
It's mine now.
I don't trust
Yeah,
that
but
rod.
this rod of shifting is what you gain from this. And so at first it's kind of hard, because in any scenario, if all of reality moves 2 inches to the right, nothing is moved, right? Because it's all in the same exact position that it was in relation to itself. But I feel like there will be a time where I will say some bullshit, and then you'll be like, I have rod of shifting, and I'll be like, motherfuck. And I like the idea of putting that like landmine out there, or it may be useless. But either way, you get the mask, you get the thing. You
Do
get the mask
illusions
of
count as reality?
It says rod of shifting, when you activate it, shifts everything. So everything in concept, the entirety of all things.
Everything you
to the
own
right.
in a box to
Now,
the right.
does that mean that it shifts everything on every plane to the right? Not necessarily, but everything that it can perceive as everything.
You're gonna cut someone in half with a pole or something.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
I'm
there
gonna
might
create a
be
whole new
something.
rift.
Oh
That's what I'm gonna do.
god.
There's clever uses to this, and it can be used once a day. And it's just a small rod, but that is what you abscond with. And then you probably all need to back away a little bit, because that skunk smell is going to linger for at least a little bit until the spell effect ends. Although is Druidcraft, is it more that you've magically illusory created a temporary skunk smell, or have you made a skunk smell happen, Yuri?
That's
Have you
good
made like a
question.
legitimate skunk situation occur?
You create instant sensory effects such as the odor of a skunk. The effect is a 5-foot cube. I'm guessing it's pretty quick because it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
It doesn't
All right,
really
so
say.
we're gonna say that it moves through. So like at first people kind of move away from it, and then it kind of moves through, and then you can see kind of down the crowd. And I like the idea that it just sort of like lingers off into the distance at Southgate. Like there's a skunk that's like freaking the fuck out and running. And everybody's very, very upset about it. But it moves through, and successfully, and with no awareness of what any of you have done, and no longer a concern for Fang, of there being blood of Fang's people being up for auction. The auction kind of regathers around itself with all manner of well-dressed, and now that it's closer to the appropriate start time, the people that have gifted things want to donate. You see someone who's clearly got the arm and shoulder and chest differential of a blacksmith that throws a hammer all day. You see other people dressed in clothes that are notably more expensive than the average dress of Southgate. And walking up the kind of main street here to this, surrounded by about 4 city guard, is a well-fed, to quote one of my favorite movies of all time, very corpulent, mustachioed, split hair down the middle, kind of pasted down to his head on either side, red hair, freckled, a freckled gentleman who is wearing a very like formal, like almost a business-like vestments, and the gentleman approaching is the mayor to oversee the auction and the delivery of the civic treasures of Southgate as they approach. And it is there that we will leave off on this section before we get into the auction and the talking and what Fang does with the vial and all that stuff. But this is a good pause point as it is now through midnight 45 for some of you. Almost a quarter to 1 in the morning for some of you. So I will allow this to wrap it up. We went a little long, but we got to the vial part and I got all excited to see what
Hicks would probably like hand when they're all outside, he'd hand the vial just like casually over to Fang, just like, here you go.
Fang takes it.
And as for the mask, I think he would he'd look at it and be like, do I really want to give this to this little shit, or should I just keep it for now? But he'd eventually like just kind of like give it to Yuri, but like in a very subtle way, obviously, so that people aren't watching.
Yuri is going to run off at high speed with the mask and leave for the time being, and he's going to go find a tree to sit in while he has a look.
And with that, we will come back next week because that will be the end of the session for now.
Indeed. Well, thank you for everybody.
Maybe I shouldn't have given it to Yuri. This little bastard will do.
No, what
It's like,
could
it's
go
like
wrong
Daddy Hicks.
with me?
Here you go. Here's a toy for you. Here's some blood for you.
Daddy Hicks.
Have fun.
Oh my god.
Children.
Dear Lord.
Yay, gifts!
Yay, gifts!
Blood of your family, enjoy. Mask of your people, enjoy.
I want blood of my family.
Oh my god.
You're filled with blood of your family.
I
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Your white, prismatic, shiny blood.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing, and I can't wait.
What, for me
Yes.
to bleed?
No, your blood is prismatic.
Well, I mean, I
What
can
the
stab
hell?
him, and then he just heals again, so it's fine.
Oh my god.
No,
So
we're
we
not.
can-
We're not
we can
blood
look at his pretty
harvesting like
blood.
cocaine blood.
No, we're not harvesting it. I just want to see it pretty
To
and
be fair, my
shimmer
blood's
and go
more
like,
like-
woo, and then you
My
can
blood's
heal.
more
It's
like
fine.
LSD, I guess.
Yeah, I was immediately thinking. I'm thinking more hallucinogen acid even.
Yeah.
Oh
You need my
Lord.
you
Cocaine power
you need
fantasy.
my blood.
Blood drugs,
alone now.
guys. Welcome
drugs.
to Healing Rifts.
I mean,
where we have
funny
blood
enough.
Hey,
Oh no,
my
that's
knife, My
terrifying.
knife literally heals rifts. That's amazing.
Well,
It
Hicks is a
is.
warlock. Hicks can literally use that too later on because blood is like the blood, like freshly harvested blood, is what's required to summon demons.
Yep, that it is.
Well,
And-
if I have the spell, I've got the knife fury, so open up.
I don't know what will happen if you try and. Oh no! Please don't try and summon a demon with my blood. That might actually start.
That would be
doing bad things.
complicated.
That would be
and
so
fun.
chaotic. I'm gonna do
That
it.
would be so fun to have
You
to
might-
figure out as a GM in a moment. I did not. So this is why. By the way, this is why I recommend as a GM get a list of wild items that you haven't monitored very thoroughly, and that are meant to be like kind of weird and strange, and then let your players figure out ways to break or to utilize them in functional utilitarian ways. It might not always be, magical socks and a waste of time. It might be a knife that is possibly very useful in a character build later on.
But he's just
and
got like Hicks has high intimidation. He's just gonna like
Oh,
he's
yes.
just gonna use the knife now.
Yeah, and then I do love that you all dodged Comb of Balding.
Oh god.
It's funny because Valdrakken are meant to be bold anyway.
Yep. But nonetheless, Jack, do you want to send us off? from your
I
stream?
was trying to before that whole tangent happened and broke my brain
Oldie.
a little bit. Wow. Okay, so we are going to go raid my friend who's playing Baldur's Gate, which is basically D&D but a game,
Yeah,
a
bold.
video game. Savvy. Anyway,
I'm
I
just
love you
thinking of ways
guys.
I can use his blood.
Dear God. Right. Anyway, this is great. See you next week. Bye.
God, just nice.
Leave my blood alone.